A 2,100-year-old mummy with skin and organs intact was discovered in China, shocking archaeologists. The mummified remains of Lady Tan Chui, the wife of a Han Dynasty official in ancient China, is one of the most extraordinary archaeological discoveries in the world, not only because of its age, but also due to its remarkable preservation, which has left scientists astounded. Over 2,000 years have passed, but the mummy remains astonishingly intact, sparking questions about the ancient Han's embalming techniques as well as their life and culture. Lady Tan Chui, who died at the age of 50, lived during a prosperous period of the Han Dynasty. However, her indulgent and sedentary lifestyle led to many serious health conditions, including obesity, high blood pressure, diabetes, and arteriosclerosis. These illnesses weakened her heart and ultimately caused her sudden death. Nevertheless, she left the world an invaluable legacy, an impeccably preserved mummy, as if she had just passed away yesterday. In 1972, a major excavation took place when workers digging a drainage tunnel on a hillside in Hunan Province, China, uncovered the tomb of Lady Tan Chui. The miracle occurred when archaeologists opened the coffin and discovered a mummy with intact skin, hair, and eyelashes. Her body was protected by 20 layers of silk fabric and encased in 4 wooden coffins, wrapped in white clay and charcoal. These measures helped safeguard her body from water and insects, preventing decomposition over the centuries. What astonished scientists even further was that the internal organs and blood vessels of Lady Tan Chui were almost entirely preserved. Experts even tested a small amount of remaining blood in her veins and identified her blood type as A. Her skin retained its elasticity, softness, and moisture, while her joints were still quite flexible, something most ancient mummies cannot boast. Additionally, her tomb contained many priceless artifacts, ranging from 100 silk garments to 160 wooden figurines symbolizing servants, along with countless pieces of jewelry, all reflecting the luxurious, wealthy life she had lived. The mummy of Lady Tan Chui is not only a significant archaeological discovery, but also a message about life and death, about the legacies that people leave for future generations. Even after more than 2,000 years, her story remains alive in the minds of those studying the history, culture, and people of a glorious era. However, this is not all that Chinese archaeology has to offer. In this vast and mysterious land, archaeologists have made countless surprising discoveries, from ancient tombs to skeletons of the ancients to relics left by our ancestors, all of which make the world tremble whenever they are announced. So, what are these discoveries? What secrets do they hold? Right now, let's continue our exploration together. The mysterious trap in the deadliest tomb in China. You may not know that ancient Chinese culture placed great importance on tombs. Families and clans believed that the deceased would enter another world, so they treated them as if they were still alive. Tombs were always carefully attended to, and the burial rituals varied based on the social status and background of the deceased. Tombs of emperors and officials were designed with great craftsmanship, and the locations were carefully selected by feng shui masters. The terrain had to be stable, free from natural disasters, and ideally near water or forests. The items placed in the tomb were meant to correspond to the status of the deceased. Civil officials were buried with sacred books, and their tombs always contained essential items like pens, ink, paper, and inkstones. Military officials' tombs required swords and spears, while tombs of those of higher social standing often included vast amounts of gold, silver, and precious jewels. However, the abundance of these valuable items in the tombs led to thieves who, driven by greed, would violate the tombs of the deceased. The Chinese, aware of tomb robbery for many generations, often designed tombs with defensive traps to deter thieves. Evidence of this can be found in numerous discoveries made by Chinese archaeologists, showcasing the ingenuity of ancient builders. One notable example occurred in 1981, when scientists discovered such a tomb in Xiangyang, Hubei province. During a construction project, workers unearthed a stone tablet with ancient inscriptions. Suspecting a tomb beneath the ground, they reported it to the local authorities. Immediately, a team of experts was dispatched to evaluate the site. One of the experts noted that the area's positive energy was strong, suggesting that the tomb's owner was likely a male official of military rank. However, given the tomb's age, the experts suspected that it may have been disturbed by grave robbers. Upon initial inspection, the experts easily detected signs of previous intrusion. However, when they reached the inner tomb, they were shocked to find that the tomb's door had not been forced open, and the dust around it remained undisturbed. After further investigation, the archaeologists discovered that the tomb was impervious to intrusion due to a cleverly designed trap intended to destroy any intruders. Upon excavation, they found numerous human remains scattered throughout the surrounding soil. The deeper they dug, the more mummified bodies emerged. It was estimated that around 80 sets of remains, dating back to various periods, were stacked around the tomb. The bodies were found in various positions. Upon examining the tomb's structure, the scientists concluded that the walls and ceiling were not made of ordinary earth, but had been replaced entirely with fine sand. This sand was very dry and loose, so when someone tried to dig into the tomb, the sand would flow through any gaps they created, filling the hole and blocking the path. The sand would continue to flow, sealing off any escape routes. Furthermore, hidden beneath the sand were sharp stones that posed a lethal danger to anyone who disturbed the tomb. The excavation team remarked, "Anyone who attempted to steal from this tomb would have only one way out: death." Given these features, the tomb has earned the title of the deadliest tomb in China, or even the tomb that kills. The mysterious stele on Mount Langya clears up a big misunderstanding about China's first emperor. When it comes to ancient China, the name Qin Shi Huang is likely not unfamiliar to you. However, for many who aren't acquainted, this name may sound rather unfamiliar, and you might wonder, who was Qin Shi Huang? For those who don't know, Qin Shi Huang is regarded as the first emperor of China. He is famous for unifying the 6 warring states and establishing a centralized empire, which marked the beginning of more than 2,000 years of imperial rule. Although he is often called the greatest emperor in history, when his name is mentioned, there are always two polarizing opinions. On one hand, people highly appreciate his vision and his ability to govern, grateful for his unification of the country. On the other hand, they criticize his brutality and bloodthirsty nature. But was Qin Shi Huang really the infamous tyrant that history often portrays? The answer began to emerge when experts uncovered a stone stele from the Qin Dynasty at an archaeological site on Mount Langya, located in Shandong Province, China, in 1921. This artifact, known as the Langya stele, stands 52 inches tall, 26 inches wide, and 14 inches thick, with 447 characters carved on its surface. What's noteworthy is that this stele was confirmed to have been engraved by high-ranking officials in the emperor's court, people who knew Qin Shi Huang very well, making it highly valuable for historical reference. The Langya stele documents Qin Shi Huang's unification of the empire, the establishment of counties, and the creation of a unified legal system. The stele also includes a statement that reflects the emperor's greatest ambition in life. It reads, "Now the emperor has pacified the 4 seas, built towns, and brought peace to the world." The phrase "peace to the world" here does not imply a hope for an eternal dynasty, but rather a genuine desire for the people to live in peace, free from chaos. Before the Qin dynasty, especially during the spring and autumn period and the warring states period, peace was a rare luxury for China, as warfare and bloodshed were nearly constant. Several other inscriptions on the stele emphasize the importance of peace during Qin Shi Huang's reign, such as, "The world is one family, no need for war," and "Eradicate disaster, put down weapons." The content of the inscriptions reflects the emperor's desire for long-lasting peace, which was one of the reasons he decided to build the Great Wall of China to protect the nation from the nomadic Xiongnu, who were attempting to invade. Additionally, the Langya stele disproves the cruel acts of burning books and burying scholars that have long been attributed to Qin Shi Huang. According to some historical records and legends, in 213 BCE, upon the suggestion of his chancellor Li Si, Qin Shi Huang ordered the burning of all books with content deemed harmful to the Qin state and the execution of scholars by burying them alive. However, the inscription on the stele found on Mount Langya suggests that this accusation against Qin Shi Huang was not entirely accurate. The emperor did not order the destruction of all books, but only those without value. Books on medicine, agriculture, and animal husbandry were preserved during this time. Furthermore, The act of burying scholars alive was not meant to punish innocent Confucian scholars, but rather to target alchemists who had deceived the emperor by claiming they could provide an elixir for immortality. After discovering these details from the stelae, experts believe that the brutal and savage acts often attributed to Qin Shi Huang were largely exaggerated by later generations, rather than being an accurate reflection of history. However, despite this, Qin Shi Huang was not without flaws. The emperor exploited the labor of his people to build grand projects for himself, such as his mausoleum and the Fang Palace, causing dissatisfaction among the population. This contributed to the short-lived reign of the Qin Dynasty, which lasted only 15 years. So, what do you think about China's first emperor after learning about the story? Feel free to share your thoughts by leaving a comment below. The giant treasure in the bottomless cave. In 1983, a construction team in Guangzhou, China, unexpectedly discovered a bottomless cave while working on Mount Xiangong in the country. The workers who were present at the site, upon seeing the large dark cave, dared not enter and immediately alerted the local archaeological team. It is known that before starting the project in the Xiangong mountain area, the construction team had researched a lot of information about the mountain. According to rumors, this area was once a military fortress during wartime and was also believed to be the site of many rare and ancient treasures of China. During the feudal period, many generals chose to build their tombs on the sacred Mount Xiangong to protect the prosperity of their families for generations. Therefore, the construction team had anticipated the possibility of discovering something very interesting at this mountain. However, the discovery of a giant bottomless cave still came as a surprise. At that time, everyone at the site was curious and kept discussing the mysterious cave. Some speculated that this enormous bottomless cave could possibly be a treasure vault left behind by ancient people, where even a single item might be worth a fortune. Nevertheless, due to the size and darkness of the cave, no one dared to venture deep inside to investigate. Everyone waited outside for the contractor to notify the nearby local archaeological team. After securing the site and conducting an initial survey of the bottomless cave, the archaeological experts discovered that the cave resembled an ancient tomb of great value. When this news spread, everyone present was very excited, because if this was indeed an ancient tomb, the cave would hold great archaeological value. To explore the tomb, the archaeologists requested that higher authorities send additional personnel with professional tools to excavate the cave. Soon after, a large tomb was revealed, and the interior space was vast. Because it had been around for a long time, some of the walls inside had crumbled. However, based on the inscriptions found on them, the experts referred to ancient texts and recognized that the characters resembled those from the Western Han period. At this point, the archaeological work was divided into two teams. One team reviewed the ancient texts, while the other continued the excavation. After many days of digging, the entire tomb appeared before their eyes. Not only was it large in scale, but the artifacts buried inside were also of very high quality. The archaeologists found a giant bronze tripod, a massive screen, and many other precious treasures. Clearly, this ancient tomb had not been damaged by thieves and was very well preserved. This news greatly thrilled the entire archaeological team. In addition to the tripod and bronze screen, the experts also discovered many weapons and equipment, such as swords, guns, spears, finely crafted golden armor, and a chariot placed at the center of the tomb. However, based solely on these artifacts, the archaeologists were still unable to determine the identity of the tomb's owner. It wasn't until they found a square seal carved from gold among the buried items that the owner's identity was immediately revealed. The seal was inscribed with the words, "Seal of Emperor Wen," proving that it was the imperial seal of Emperor Wen. Emperor Wen, also known as King Zhaohu, was the second king of Nanyue, the son of the first king, Zhao To. In conclusion, this discovery continues to bring great joy to the archaeological community in China. After all, preserving so many cultural relics that have not been stolen or destroyed is highly significant, as they serve as evidence of the ancient people's existence. The tomb that was only 334 square feet, but full of gold. In the spring of 2000, a large explosion occurred in Daihong Village, Changshan Town, Zhangcheng County, Hubei Province, China. Although it happened during the Chinese Lunar New Year, The sound of the explosion was quite different from the typical firecrackers, causing the villagers to panic. Immediately, the police were dispatched to the scene. Upon investigation, they discovered a black hole on the ground, which, though not very deep, led to an ancient tomb. The village chief contacted the Provincial Cultural Relics Bureau to report the situation. After being alerted, a group of archaeological experts arrived at the site and confirmed that this was indeed an ancient tomb. As a result, a rescue excavation was promptly initiated. Initially, the excavation faced difficulties due to the tomb's sturdy structure. The experts had to destroy a massive stone gate to enter. However, they considered this a good sign, indicating that the explosion had not damaged the tomb's interior. But their excitement quickly turned to disappointment as they discovered the tomb was relatively small. After measuring, they found its area to be just 334 square feet. The tomb was also filled with a significant amount of water. Archaeologists assumed that such a small tomb would not contain many burial items, and those that were submerged in water for so long might have been severely damaged. This excavation seemed to be more of a loss than a gain. However, the experts decided to bring in several high-powered pumps, hoping to uncover the identity of the tomb's owner. Soon after, they discovered a stele inside the tomb. The stele, about 3.8 feet tall, was affixed to the fourth wall. The inscription on the stele was divided into two parts. One read, "Tomb of King Liang Zhuang," and the other read, "Inscriptions of Queen Liang Zhuang." The archaeologists immediately recognized that this was the tomb of King Liang Zhuang, Zhu, a prince of the Ming Dynasty, along with his wife. According to the Ming history of China, King Liang Zhuang was the 9th son of the Ming Emperor Renzong, the 4th emperor of the Ming Dynasty. Zhu was granted the title of king in the 22nd year of the Yongle reign. His residence was in Anlu Prefecture, now Zhangchang, Hubei Province. Later, as he had no sons, he lost his title. He only had two daughters, Princess Xin Ning and Princess Ning Yuan. Upon learning this, the archaeologists were thrilled. Some even couldn't hide their excitement, saying, "We thought this small tomb wouldn't contain anything, but it turns out we found something incredibly valuable." So why were the experts so enthusiastic about the tomb of King Liang Zhuang? The reason for their excitement was that as a prince, King Liang Zhuang was believed to have a considerable fortune buried with him. Ancient Chinese culture held that death is like life, meaning that people continued their lives in the afterlife. As such, the ancient Chinese often placed many valuable items in tombs for the deceased. Furthermore, since King Liang Zhuang had no sons, it was expected that most of his wealth would be buried with him. True to expectations, as they cleared away the mud, the burial items began to emerge. According to archaeologists who were at the tomb, gold, silver, and jewels were found everywhere. It could be said that this was the most luxurious tomb they had ever seen, with such a large number of burial items that its scale rivaled that of royal tombs. Though the tomb only covered 334 square feet, King Liang Zhuang's tomb contained a massive amount of cultural relics. After counting, the experts found 5,300 valuable cultural artifacts, excluding smaller items. Most of these were made of gold, silver, jade, precious stones, and porcelain. The total weight of the gemstone inlaid jewelry was estimated at 35 pounds, the silver weighed 29 pounds, and the precious stones weighed 31 pounds. A gold ingot was valued at approximately 129,000. The 700 gemstones used for inlaying the jewelry were a diverse range, including rubies, jade, emeralds, and cat's eye stones, all of the highest quality. Notably, there was a sapphire weighing 200 carats, which was confirmed to be the largest ever found in China. Some of the relics found in the tomb were believed to have been imported from foreign countries. Among the artifacts was a gold base with a block of exquisitely crafted jade on top. Additionally, the gold belts inlaid with jade and carved with dragon motifs were highly regarded for the skill of the craftsman. According to experts, the gold, silver, and jewel-encrusted artifacts in King Liang Zhuang's tomb could be considered national treasures. Their value was estimated to be in the tens of thousands of billions of dollars, a sum that could purchase hundreds of luxury mansions. The excavation of King Liang Zhuang's tomb and the discovery of these treasures was a major event in the archaeological community in China at the time. These relics also helped future generations understand more about the life of the royal family during the Ming Dynasty. So why did a prince like King Liang Zhuang possess such a fortune, comparable to that of an emperor? According to archaeological experts, King Liang Zhuang's immense wealth was due to the prosperous time he lived in during the Ming Dynasty. When his father passed away, his older brother, Zhu Jiwei, ascended the throne as Emperor Ming Xuanzong. Emperor Xuanzong then issued an edict granting the royal family, including his brothers, substantial wealth, with amounts equivalent to about $2 million USD. King Liang Zhuang, however, was granted double that amount. The items that King Liang Zhuang received were collected by Zheng He, a famous explorer of the Ming court. Zheng He was appointed by Emperor Yongle to command a large fleet to explore and gather knowledge of foreign countries. According to the Voyages of the Treasure Fleet by Ma Huan during the Ming Dynasty, Zheng He's fleet acquired many precious stones from various places, including jade and rubies. This is why King Liang Zhuang's tomb contains so many gold, silver, and precious stones. The 9 terrifying archaeological discoveries that have left scientists stumped. The 6 skeletons in a face-down position in a cave on a cliffside. On the cliffs of Gran Canaria Island in Spain, an unsolved mystery still exists. Archaeologists have discovered 6 skeletons lying face down. Some were bound by their hands and covered with stones. The identities of these individuals, when they died, remain unanswered. However, according to the initial assessment by archaeologist Veronica Alberto, the leader of the excavation team, it is clear that these individuals experienced a violent death centuries ago. They were not buried in the conventional sense. This burial practice represents a form of symbolic violence. Some bodies were forced onto the surface and later covered with stones, while others had their hands and feet bound or tied with straps. Furthermore, these mysterious skeletons exhibit certain peculiarities. They were all male and had strong muscular arms. Based on these details, the archaeologists believe that these individuals may have engaged in specific physical activities. However, determining the exact time of their death is difficult. Veronica added that it's possible this was the burial site of indigenous people, but due to the nature of the archaeological site, they need to expand their research and examine whether it could date back to the period after the Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire in the 15th century. Currently, experts have not found any items or materials that could provide clues about the skeletons of these men. Therefore, they must wait for the results of carbon dating. Gran Canaria is one of the Canary Islands in Spain, located off the northwest coast of Africa. It is also known for its white sandy beaches and black volcanic lava. The southern beaches, such as Playa del Ingles and Puerto Rico, are very lively, while Puerto de Mogollon and San Agustin are quieter. To the north, the city of Las Palmas serves as a main stop for cruise ships and a duty-free shopping destination. If you are someone who loves exploration and discovering new things, I think a trip to this place will certainly provide you with many new and interesting experiences. Chilling treasure found in a cave. Recently, researchers discovered a shocking treasure in the Marmolles Cave in Spain, consisting of ancient human bone artifacts dating back thousands of years BC. This treasure is not just a valuable archaeological find, but it also reveals eerie secrets about how ancient people interacted with each other and the complex beliefs in their societies. Unearthed from 12 ancient graves in the cave, the artifacts include a cup made from a human skull, along with bone fragments and remains of 7 adults and 5 children. According to the research team from the University of Bern in Switzerland and the University of Córdoba in Spain, the discovery of the human skull cup provides clear evidence of manipulation and retrieval of human remains in ancient societies. The skull cup is particularly striking, as it is made from the skull of a person, showing clear signs of flesh scraping and marrow extraction. Crafting this cup required advanced skills, as the skull's edges had to be broken and the flesh scraped away to form a usable shape. Analysis shows that the cup was used to hold some kind of liquid, possibly wine or water, raising questions about its purpose and cultural significance in prehistoric communities. Furthermore, the bone fragments also show signs of cannibalistic behavior, with cut marks and evidence of marrow extraction. These acts are a form of brutality, evoking strange beliefs and rituals, possibly related to remembrance, revenge, or the possession of the deceased's soul. Based on these discoveries, scientists suggest that the crafting and use of human bones may be connected to beliefs about the afterlife, which were complex and mysterious in ancient societies. Female skeleton in a giant red coffin. After thousands of years of history, Countless cultural relics and historical treasures have been buried deep beneath the earth. Today, through archaeological programs, we can uncover some of them and gain a deeper understanding of history. Recently, Chinese archaeologists excavated an ancient tomb in the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. The coffin was found in a small tomb, seemingly belonging to an ordinary person. However, the first unusual thing that caught the eye was the coffin's bright red color, which is different from the traditional black color usually seen. This is very strange because red symbolizes good fortune in ancient Chinese culture, and it was typically used in weddings, red envelopes for gifts, or New Year celebrations. According to preliminary assessments, the archaeological value of the giant coffin is immense. After opening the coffin, inside was a beautifully dressed female skeleton with a vast amount of jewelry made of gold. However, when the clothing was lifted, a mysterious black liquid began to ooze from the body, which startled the experts and even caused them to flee in fear. After calming down and taking samples for testing, the results showed that the liquid was mercury. This substance found in the coffin may have been used to preserve the deceased's body, as well as to prevent tomb robbers from disturbing the remains. To prevent decomposition, ancient people had injected a large amount of mercury into the body before burial. This discovery impressed scientists as it demonstrated the ingenuity of the ancients. Moreover, this embalming method had another clever purpose: to thwart tomb raiders. Anyone who dared to open the coffin risked being harmed by the mercury, or even dying if they were unlucky. Scientists were fortunate to have recognized this issue early on. The skeleton of Don Quixote's author. Archaeologists have been searching for the lost remains of the Spanish author Miguel de Cervantes, the writer of the famous novel Don Quixote, since early 2014. Recently, they made a significant breakthrough by finding a piece of coffin wood engraved with the first two letters of the author's name, along with a set of remains located in a crypt beneath a church in Madrid, Spain. Cervantes passed away in 1616, leaving behind an indelible literary legacy with Don Quixote, a work considered a pioneer in modern literature. According to his will, his family buried him in a church in the center of Madrid, where, for centuries, the exact location of his grave remained a mystery. After renovations to the church in 1973, Cervantes' tomb suddenly disappeared, puzzling experts. Interestingly, the church where he was buried still exists today, but the exact location of the great writer's grave has remained unclear. Therefore, in 2014, an archaeological project was launched to find Cervantes' remains. Despite facing controversy over its impact on Madrid's cultural heritage, authorities decided to continue the search, and they have made significant progress. The discovery of a coffin wood fragment engraved with the letters MC in the crypt has attracted considerable attention. This is the clearest sign that the remains in the crypt may belong to the writer Cervantes. Additionally, archaeologists found the remains of at least 10 other people in the same area. Besides these signs, archaeologists also used other clues to help identify the remains. One important detail was that Cervantes had written before his death that he only had 6 teeth left, along with injuries from his time in battle. In particular, during the Battle of Lepanto in 1571, Cervantes was severely wounded while fighting against the Ottoman Empire. 2 gunshots to the chest and 1 to the hand left him with a permanent injury to his left hand. This information was also crucial in identifying his remains. The discovery of Cervantes' remains is not only of archaeological significance, but also serves as an act of honoring the man who changed the face of Spanish and world literature. As the director of the Madrid Cultural Heritage Management Committee once stated, "Finding the writer's grave is a way to repay the great debt to the nation's literary king." Madrid has dedicated a neighborhood, Barrio de las Letras, where the writer once lived, to honor him. Cervantes was not only the author of Don Quixote, but also a figure with a rich life experience. From fierce battles in the Mediterranean Sea to being captured and imprisoned by North African pirates, he lived a life full of challenges. However, it was these experiences that contributed to the creation of his profound and timeless works. 8,000-year-old human bones in an underwater cave. A remarkable archaeological discovery has recently been announced along the Caribbean coast of Mexico, where prehistoric human bones were found in an underwater cave in Tulum. Archaeologists, led by researcher Octavio Del Rio and diver Peter Broger, uncovered the skeleton on September 13th. The bones and shattered skull were found beneath a thick layer of sediment, 26 feet underwater and about 0.3 miles from the cave's entrance. This discovery is incredibly significant, offering a valuable glimpse into the lives of people at the end of the Ice Age, but also raising a series of unanswered questions about how the body ended up in the cave and what happened thousands of years ago. Remarkably, the bones could not have been accessed without modern diving equipment, causing it to be forgotten for over 8,000 years. Although experts have managed to collect samples and take photographs for research purposes, Del Rio mentioned that determining the exact age of the bones still requires extensive work, from sample collection to further analysis in the laboratory. The exact location of the cave containing the skeleton has not been disclosed to prevent potential trespassing, as the Mexican government's Maya train project is being developed very close to the area. The Maya high-speed rail project, stretching 932 miles around the Yucatan Peninsula, has sparked considerable controversy as it connects coastal resorts with archaeological sites, including underwater limestone caves that contain valuable historical artifacts. Environmentalists and archaeologists have strongly opposed the project, arguing that it not only divides the coastal rainforest, but could also destroy or pollute these ancient caves, which hold important evidence of humanity's past. In fact, many caves may take decades to fully explore, and damage from construction could lead to unforeseen consequences. The discovery of the prehistoric skeleton in the Tulum cave is part of a series of ancient remains that archaeologists have uncovered along the Caribbean coast, an area rich in archaeological heritage in North America. The skeletons of giant red people in 3,000-year-old tomb mounds. In northern Serbia, archaeologists made unexpected discoveries when they excavated two large ancient burial mounds and uncovered exceptionally large, red-colored skeletons that were notably different from the local population of that time. According to ancient origins, these burial mounds were studied by a team of scientists from the Institute of Archaeology and Ethnology at the Polish Academy of Sciences. What is intriguing is that these mounds were not only much larger than the surrounding mounds, but were also constructed from ash trees, with each mound having a diameter of up to 130 feet and a height ranging from 10 to 13 feet. These mounds contained many skeletons, with the earliest burial dating back approximately 2,900 to 3,000 years ago, and the second burial occurring about 100 to 200 years later. However, what astonished the archaeologists was not just the massive size of the mounds, but the unusual color of some of the skeletons. These skeletons were all bright red. Through analysis, scientists determined that the bodies were covered with a layer of red ochre after death, indicating that the deceased were honored and highly regarded. Red ochre had been used for over 5,000 years as a symbol of power and sanctity, particularly in rituals honoring the deceased. Another remarkable aspect that left archaeologists astounded was the size of the skeletons. The men found in these two mounds were extraordinarily tall, with an average height of over 5 feet 11 inches, while the local population in Serbia at that time averaged only about 5 feet 3 inches. Dr. Piotr Włodarczak, one of the researchers involved in the project, suggested that the combination of the use of red ochre and the exceptional height of the deceased may indicate that they were immigrants from the Eurasian steppe. This is an important suggestion because in that region, red ochre burial rituals were often performed to honor and elevate important individuals in the community. Additionally, archaeologists noted that these graves contained very few grave goods, despite the deceased's apparent high status, which further deepens the mystery surrounding their lives and deaths and raises questions about the cultural connections between different communities of that era. 2. Tiny red-colored baby skeletons. Today, identical twin births are not uncommon, but stories of twin births in history, especially those that have been buried in time, continue to captivate scientists' attention and exploration. Most recently, in November 2020, archaeologists in Austria unearthed two infant skeletons dating back approximately 30,000 years, shedding light on an ancient mystery surrounding identical twin births. The two skeletons were found in an oval-shaped grave. The surrounding soil was red and blood-stained, and scientists deduced that after death, the bodies of the two children were coated in red ochre and their heads were positioned facing east. Researchers analyzed DNA and confirmed that these two children shared the same genetic code, proving they were identical twins. Further analysis revealed that both were full-term babies, but one survived for about 6 to 7 months, while the other lived for about 3 to 4 months. Both bodies were buried with ceremonial items. The smaller body was surrounded by mammoth ivory beads near the pelvic bones, while the other was adorned with a shell necklace. The grave was discovered at the Gravettian site of Kremswachtberg in Austria, which is believed to date back to the Upper Paleolithic period. Along with the twins, the research team also discovered the skeleton of a 3-month-old infant, believed to be a relative of the twins. This is an extremely rare archaeological discovery, and scientists used DNA analysis to confirm the biological relationship between the 3 children, while also shedding light on the relationship between them and the communities of that time. The analysis suggests that, although the twins were small in size, they were buried with valuable items, indicating the respect and reverence the people of that era had for these children. Like many other rituals in ancient cultures, the use of red ochre to coat the bodies was a symbol of sacredness and power. This discovery not only tells a fascinating story of a distant past, but also opens up profound research into the medical, biological, and cultural history of ancient communities. The Red Queen in the ancient stone coffin. More than 20 years ago, Mexican archaeologist Fanny Lopez Jimenez and her colleagues made an unexpected discovery when they uncovered the remains of the Red Queen in a tomb dating back approximately 600 to 700 years AD in Palenque, Mexico. To this day, experts have been unable to decode the mystery surrounding the skeleton. The reason it is called the Red Queen is because the body was preserved with red cinnabar. Additionally, a crown made of jade beads was found around the skull. Furthermore, experts also discovered hundreds of green fragments from a damaged mask. The body of the Red Queen was adorned with valuable jewelry such as pearls, jade, and some seashells. According to research results, the Red Queen died around the age of 60 and had a diet primarily consisting of meat with strong and healthy teeth. However, no inscriptions or artifacts were found to confirm the identity of the Red Queen. It is only known that, based on the artifacts discovered in the tomb, archaeologist Jimenez speculates that the remains may belong to a royal woman linked to Kinich Janab Pakal I, a Maya king. Jimenez's hypothesis is based on the fact that Temple the 15, a smaller pyramid structure, is located right next to the tomb of King Pakal. However, all of this remains speculation. Over the past 20 years, experts have been working to identify the Red Queen, but no definitive results have been reached. Therefore, her identity remains a mystery for future generations. 2,000-year-old organic remains still intact in an ancient tomb. While constructing the foundation for a new building in the Huangpu area of Xi'an, China, the Shanxi Provincial Institute of Archaeology uncovered ancient Han tombs. The excavation site is located about 2.5 miles south of the tomb of Emperor Han Xuan and 0.9 miles north of the Duling town border. This rare mystery involves the preservation of organic materials over thousands of years without decomposition, which has astonished the world about the incredible ingenuity of ancient civilizations. Since excavation began in August 2020, preliminary surveys and subsequent digs have revealed more than 1,000 ancient tombs in this area, which is a high ground, making it an ideal burial site for ancient people. The central area of the excavation primarily contains tombs from the late Western Han period, while smaller tombs from the Tang, Ming, and Qing dynasties are scattered around. In one tomb, dating back more than 2,000 years, not only was a collection of pottery discovered, but also many woven bags containing unspoiled grains, leaving those present in awe. The M553 tomb was severely plundered, and its owner is believed to have been a noble or senior official. Most of the decorations, such as ivory cylindrical ornaments, jade eye shields, jade pig handles, and other objects, had been cleaned out. The tomb is shaped like a brick-arched cave, extending 55 feet in length, with east and west walls dividing it into several chambers. These chambers measure 13.4 feet in width, 17.4 feet in length, and 30.2 feet in depth, making it the largest Han tomb in the excavation area. The top of the tomb has collapsed, and remains of a cypress wood coffin were found in the east, west, and north sections below. Pottery, woven bags of grains, and straw mats wrapped in food were discovered during the cleanup of a chamber along the east wall, which is 3.6 feet wide, 11.5 feet deep, and 3.9 feet high, with a vaulted ceiling made from wedge-shaped bricks. The organic remains inside can be divided into 3 parts based on their preservation method. The innermost section of the tomb chamber contained pottery and primitive ceramic vessels, some still with lids. The pottery was adorned with ancient Zhou dynasty patterns, and the top was covered with a well-preserved mat. The middle section of the tomb chamber contained bundles of cylindrical seeds with holes arranged side by side. Experts identified these as hemp seeds and millet. The outside of these seeds was wrapped in woven mats and fabric, with red ribbons tied into a fang shape. The woven mat, which appears to be made of reeds, has remained a mystery for researchers due to its unique physical properties. Most of the items in the tomb have decayed into powder, making it difficult for archaeologists to study them without careful handling to avoid exposure to wind and air. The outermost section of the tomb chamber contained an open round bag, turned upside down, with visible brown residue on the inside. This is likely to be a soup, solid food, or meat, though archaeologists have not yet been able to determine the exact material. Hu Sunbo, head of the excavation department at the Shanxi Provincial Institute of Archaeology, said, "Most food containers in Han tombs discovered so far have been made of pottery. However, the food in this tomb was stored in woven fabric bags and mats tied with red ribbons." This Han tomb, dating over 2,000 years old, has preserved many types of organic materials, which is quite rare in archaeological discoveries in the Guangdong region in recent years. If we can figure out the material used to wrap these items, it would be a miraculous breakthrough for the food preservation industry. The 11 shocking archaeological discoveries in the Amazon rainforest. The 2,500-year-old Sangay settlement. The Amazon is one of the most biodiverse places on the planet, home to around 3 million species living under the canopy of the wet tropical forest. But due to the dense vegetation and harsh landscape, the Amazon has never been home to the large ancient civilizations found elsewhere in the Americas. However, recent research by scientists at the French National Center for Scientific Research, published in Science magazine, revealed the ruins of an ancient city in the Upano Valley in eastern Ecuador, along the Andes mountain range. Through mapping 115 square miles using light detection and ranging LiDAR technology, the research team found evidence of a 2,500-year-old settlement named Sangay, which may have once housed 10,000 or even 100,000 people at its peak. According to the researchers, this discovery changes the way we view Amazonian culture, as most people previously imagined small, possibly naked groups living in huts and clearing land. But new studies show that ancient people lived in far more complex urban settings. No matter who lived in this area, they may have thrived from around 500 BC to around 300 to 600 AD. LiDAR technology revealed multiple layers of structures, such as squares, streets, and drainage systems. Notably, the intricate road system spans nearly 6 miles. These roads appear to connect several different urban centers, much like how the Maya in Mexico and Guatemala organized their urban networks. Interestingly, the roads are almost straight with right angles, demonstrating a level of construction complexity that would have been difficult to achieve in the Amazon's terrain. The diet of these ancient inhabitants has also been uncovered through traces of fields and drainage systems. Scientists speculate that the cities may have cultivated crops like corn, beans, sweet potatoes, and manioc. According to another estimate, about 90% of Amazon's history remains unexplored. However, new technologies are shedding light on the distant past of this region, raising questions about what we really know about this pristine and beautiful land. Prehistoric human remains. In 2015, Professor Gaspar Morcote from the National University of Colombia, along with 3 of his students, discovered the burial site of a prehistoric person in the Amazon rainforest region of Guaviare, Colombia. The remains belong to an individual who had passed away between the ages of 25 and 30. This discovery is particularly significant as it provides important insights into the lives of ancient communities in this region. The remains suggest that this person may have lived during the pre-agricultural period, when humans primarily survived by gathering natural food sources like chestnuts and other seeds. However, to accurately determine the age of the remains, archaeologists need to conduct further studies on the skull fragments found in the area. This discovery opens up a new perspective on the evolution of ancient humans, especially regarding their dietary habits and lifestyle. Another important finding from the excavation was the discovery of a large rock face with ancient carvings stretching 130 feet long and 65 feet high. These carvings are a key part of the study, not only helping preserve the prehistoric bones and teeth, but also providing clues about the ancient cultures that once inhabited the area. Over the course of 17 days of exploration, the research team collected valuable data that sheds light on part of the development of human beings and ancient communities. Notably, during this excavation, archaeologists also found traces of groups of people who lived around 2,000 years ago, along with pottery and stone tools. These findings suggest that the ancient civilizations in Mapinguari began transitioning from a hunting and gathering lifestyle to agriculture. Additionally, the stone tools could date back as far as 9,000 years, opening a new chapter in the study of human history in the Amazon rainforest region. The 2,000-year-old giant drawings. A groundbreaking scientific discovery was recently announced by British and Brazilian scientists who uncovered 450 geoglyphs in the Amazon rainforest. These mysterious drawings were recorded using advanced drone camera technology and are scattered across an area of up to 5,000 square miles. The geoglyphs resemble the famous drawings found at the Stonehenge site in England, and they are believed to be the work of humans over 2,000 years ago. This discovery offers a new perspective on the history and development of the Amazon rainforest. According to the scientists, these geoglyphs may have been created for the spiritual ceremonies of ancient civilizations. What is particularly fascinating is that these drawings had been covered by vegetation for thousands of years and were only revealed due to the recent surge in deforestation. Jennifer Watling, a researcher at the Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology at the University of São Paulo, expressed concern about this significant discovery, stating, "The fact that these geoglyphs have been covered by trees for thousands of years may indicate that the Amazon rainforest is not as pristine an ecosystem as we once thought. This suggests that some areas of the current Amazon rainforest may be regrown forests, having been cleared by ancient peoples to create these mysterious drawings." Furthermore, the discovery of geoglyphs in the Amazon has somewhat altered our perception of this rainforest. It is not just a vast natural ecosystem, but also a testament to ancient civilizations that left a clear mark on the land. As a result, future research will undoubtedly reveal more fascinating insights into the relationship between humans and nature in the past, helping us better understand how ancient cultures interacted with their environment. The City of Giants. From South America to North America, from Asia to Europe, the legend of the ancient giants has been a part of many cultures, telling tales of beings of extraordinary size that once lived on Earth. These mysterious stories inspired a group of explorers, and in 2012, they embarked on an adventurous journey into the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador to search for the lost city of the giants. Guided by ancient legends and a blurry photograph of an unusual structure, their expedition led them to an area near a riverbank where they discovered impressive megalithic structures. The explorers found an ancient city where massive stone blocks were used to build structures, including a pyramid that stood 262 feet tall and 262 feet wide. The pyramid was constructed from hundreds of large stones, each weighing up to 4,400 pounds. What was strange, however, was that the tools used by the ancient people seemed ill-suited for such large stones. The question arises, how could an ancient civilization with primitive tools have built such enormous structures unless they were giants with extraordinary strength and size? Of course, the discovery did not end with these structures. The explorers also uncovered oversized artifacts, such as a gigantic hammer, which, if attached to the proper handle, would have been enormous. This further strengthens the hypothesis that giants may have actually existed and built these megalithic structures. This story is not only passed down by locals, but also supported by strange evidence of giants, such as the 23-foot-long skeleton discovered by priest Carlos Miguel Vaca in 1964 in Ecuador. This skeleton was displayed at his museum, but after his death, the museum was looted and the skeleton vanished. However, a reconstructed model of the skeleton is now on display at the Jungfrau Park in Switzerland, continuing to preserve the story of the mysterious giants who once lived on Earth. If you're passionate about exploration and eager to learn about the past, this is a place worth visiting. The Mysterious Stone Sanctuary. Deep within the dark and mysterious Amazon rainforest lies a stone sanctuary that has emerged as a beacon of intrigue and sophistication. Rio Grande, often referred to as the Stonehenge of the Amazon. This granite stone circle consists of 127 massive stones, each standing about 13 feet tall and weighing several tons. Each stone has an unusual and irregular shape. Though arranged randomly, the stones naturally harmonize into a wild piece of art, creating a sacred and mystical space by the Rio Grande stream. People are now asking, is this a place of worship or a natural observatory used by ancient peoples for agriculture? What is especially mysterious about Rio Grande is not only its odd stone arrangement, but also its historical story and origins. It was discovered in the late 19th century by Swiss-Brazilian naturalist Emile Goeldi, but was only thoroughly studied, starting in 1960 when Laelson Camelo da Silva, a wild boar hunter, stumbled upon it. This discovery drew global attention, and Rio Grande became a topic of controversy and curiosity. The giant beast with extremely dangerous claws. For generations, Amazonian tribes have passed down tales of a monster that walks on two legs like a human, with its body covered in fur, living in the dense forests of South America. This mysterious creature is called the Mapinguari. When it moves, it crawls on all fours. The Mapinguari is believed to have light red fur and claws that curl inward. Its mouth is large enough to devour any creature it encounters. It is said to roam the South American rainforests, tearing through trees while searching for food. The rumors surrounding the Mapinguari were so widespread that scientists flocked to the Amazon rainforest in search of clues. One of them was Dr. David Oren, a Brazilian-American biologist and former director of the Goeldi Institute. Dr. Oren led an expedition into the rainforest to find evidence of the Mapinguari. At the end of the search, Dr. Oren stated that he did not find any signs that the Mapinguari is a living species. He told the New York Times, "I think the legend of the Mapinguari originated from the last time humans encountered these giant creatures. Creatures that were thought to be extinct might have survived for hundreds of years, but I'm not sure about the Mapinguari." However, some archaeologists have a different perspective, as they have found fossils dating back 11,000 years of Megatherium, one of the largest mammals to ever live on Earth. This period also marks the time when the first humans lived in caves, hunting and gathering daily. It's very likely that the Mapinguari is a fictional creature based on ancient encounters with the Megatherium. Some archaeologists even suggest that the rise of humans may have led to the extinction of giant creatures like the Megatherium. Present in North and South America from 2.6 million years ago until about 10,000 years ago, the Megatherium resembled today's sloth but was as large as an elephant. When standing on two legs, it reached a height of 20 feet and weighed up to 11,000 pounds. Its giant size and ability to stand on two legs allowed the Megatherium to easily reach food in trees that other herbivores couldn't access. Its large, sturdy tail was also crucial for balance when standing. With its immense size, the Megatherium had no natural predators. However, it was a relatively gentle creature, usually feeding on leaves. If not provoked, it would not attack. The Megatherium's sharp and long claws were like deadly daggers. Just one swipe from this giant could cause severe injury to its enemy. Today, many Amazon natives still believe that the Megatherium still exists. One such person, Lucas Caritiana, a member of the Caritiana tribe in Brazil, claims that his son saw this giant creature and was lucky enough to escape. These creatures are so large and strong that they could easily smash trees around them. 10-million-year-old fossil of a giant prehistoric rodent. Recently, archaeologists discovered the fossil of a giant prehistoric rodent nearly the size of a human that lived about 10 million years ago in South America. This rodent, known as Neoepiblema greensis, was one of the largest rodents to ever exist on Earth. Weighing over 176 pounds, Neoepiblema greensis had two massive curved incisors used for cracking nuts and hunting. This discovery was made in the western Amazon in Brazil, where scientists found two fossilized skulls of this rodent, providing valuable insight into a giant creature that lived long ago. Interestingly, despite the size of Neoepiblema greensis, its brain was very small. CT scans revealed that its brain weighed only about 0.22 pounds, a modest weight compared to its massive body. Furthermore, Neoepiblema acgreensis had a very low encephalization quotient of just 0.3. Encephalization is a measure of brain development relative to body size, and humans have an average encephalization quotient of around 6. While most South American rodents have an encephalization quotient of about 1.05, this giant rodent had a much lower score, suggesting it was not a particularly intelligent creature. This also means that despite its impressive physical strength, Neoepiblema acgreensis might have struggled to cope with complex challenges in its environment. This discovery not only helps us better understand the diversity and evolution of prehistoric animals, but also opens a new door for research on how ancient animals adapted and survived in the harsh environmental conditions of the past. The meteorite that wiped out the dinosaurs and helped birth the Amazon rainforest. Researchers from the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute in Panama recently used pollen and leaf fossils from Colombia to study plant changes following the meteorite impact 66 million years ago, leading to several surprising discoveries. The meteorite, which had a diameter of up to 7.5 miles, is believed to be the main cause of the dinosaur extinction and significantly altered the ecological structure of tropical rainforests. According to Dr. Monica Carvalho, co-author of the study, the research team examined more than 50,000 fossilized pollen records and 6,000 leaf fossils from before and after the impact. They found that, prior to the meteorite strike, plants like conifers and ferns dominated the rainforests. However, after the event, plant diversity sharply dropped by around 45%, with widespread extinctions, especially among seed-bearing plants. Although the rainforests recovered over the next 6 million years, flowering plants gradually began to dominate instead of the older plant species. The structure of the forests also changed significantly. Trees that once grew sparsely, allowing more sunlight to reach the forest floor, became denser after the impact, reducing the amount of sunlight reaching the ground. The team also proposed 3 hypotheses to explain why this transformation occurred. One is that dinosaurs may have helped prevent the forest from becoming too dense by eating and trampling smaller plants. A second is that ash from the impact may have fertilized the soil, promoting the rapid growth of flowering plants. Finally, the extinction of coniferous plants opened the way for flowering plants to take over the forests. While the exact cause remains an open question, this study demonstrates that under a sudden impact, tropical ecosystems not only recover, but also undergo profound transformations over a long period. This is a clear indication that ecosystem changes can be more than just recovery. They can also involve gradual replacement over time. The river with deadly temperatures. Deep in the Amazon rainforest, in the Mayan-Tuyacu region of Peru, there exists a river that constantly boils, known as Shian Wen. This is not only a spectacular sight, but also a mysterious natural phenomenon. The river, about 82 feet wide and 20 feet deep, stretches only 4 miles, but it harbors a dangerous secret. The water temperature here ranges from 122 degrees F to 194 degrees F, with boiling areas reaching up to 212 degrees F, hot enough to cause severe burns to anyone brave enough to touch it. This is not a habitable environment for any creatures, and many wild animals have perished in its waters. Over the years, Shian Wen has remained a mystery to many. While stories about it have been passed down through generations, it was only recently that it began to gain attention outside Peru. However, Andrés Russo, a geothermal scientist, was determined to uncover the truth behind the river. After many years of searching, he finally witnessed the river for himself, thanks to his grandfather's magical story and his own perseverance. Russo is now working on a book about his adventure and the discovery of this boiling river. Through the book, he hopes to bring attention to this natural wonder and encourage its protection from the growing threats posed by illegal logging. This book is not only a scientific resource, but also a story of curiosity, patience, and belief in the power of nature. If you love exploration and are passionate about the Amazon, you might want to check out this book. I believe it will be fascinating and captivating. The underground river at a depth of 13,123 feet. Earth, the planet we live on, is a place full of mysteries, and the Amazon region is no exception. Covering about 40% of South America, it holds numerous secrets yet to be explored by humans. Not only is it home to strange creatures and tribes that have never made contact with the outside world, but the Amazon is also the site of some astonishing geographical discoveries. One such discovery is the Hamza Underground River, which is considered a shocking find in the scientific community. In 2011, while surveying 241 oil wells for Petrobras, a team of Brazilian scientists discovered a river deep beneath the earth at a depth of about 13,123 feet. Named after the lead researcher, Valia Manithal Hamza, this underground river has some remarkable characteristics. First, the Hamza River runs almost parallel to the Amazon River above, flowing in the same west to east direction. Although the flow rate of the Hamza River is much slower than that of the Amazon, approximately 3,000 cubic meters per second compared to the Amazon's 130,000 cubic meters per second, its water volume is much greater. To this day, there is still debate about the true nature of the Hamza River. Some scientists believe it is simply water created by Petrobras's oil drilling activities rather than a natural river. However, if the Hamza River is confirmed to be a true river, with a length of 3,700 miles and a width ranging from 124 to 248 miles, it would become the longest underground river in the world. The Brazilian research team is committed to continuing their study of the Hamza River to determine its true nature. In fact, there is even more to this discovery. Hamza is just one of many intriguing findings by scientists in the Amazon, including airborne rivers, which play a crucial role in creating rainfall in the region. The mysterious Bodel Depression. The Amazon rainforest, a gateway to endless mysteries, seems to have a peculiar connection with the world's largest desert, the Sahara, through the Bodel Depression. Scientists have discovered that winds from the Atlantic Ocean carry dust from the Bodel Depression, a part of the massive Sahara Desert located in Chad, to the Amazon rainforest. This is not just a simple geographical phenomenon, but also an important biological connection, a miraculous flow of life. The dust particles from Bodele enrich the Amazon's greenery, making it more fertile and vibrant. This connection, which seems to transcend both space and time, forms a unique and mystical natural masterpiece. It is undeniable that without the presence of the Bodel Depression, the Amazon could not exist as we know it today. This is an incredible discovery, a secret of nature that humanity has strived to uncover and understand. The Bodel Depression, a small spot on the Earth's surface, contains vast mysteries about the connection and vitality of our planet. Perhaps this is why adventurers feel so intrigued and excited to learn about it, hoping that we can uncover even more marvelous wonders in the future. Hundreds of mysterious mummies unexpectedly discovered on a mountain peak, terrifying archaeologists. Hundreds of mummies on the Alps mountains. Recently, Swedish rescue teams discovered several remains and bodies on high mountains, raising concerns about the effects of global warming on mountainous regions. According to a statement from the Swiss police, the rapid melting of glaciers in the Alps has exposed hundreds of bodies and human bones, drawing significant attention from the international community. With the increase of this phenomenon, Swedish rescue teams have been reporting more and more cases of bodies and human remains being found. One of the recent discoveries was the body of a German man who had been missing since 1987 during an expedition in this high-altitude area. The return of these remains shocked many families whose loved ones had disappeared during previous expeditions and accidents, as they had once thought they would never be found. In addition, in July, another particularly shocking discovery was made: the bodies of a Swiss couple who had gone missing in the Alps 75 years ago. Although they were confirmed to have died, finding their frozen remains helped bring closure to a painful chapter in the history of their family and friends. This highlights that glaciers are not only symbols of natural beauty, but also silent witnesses to a series of tragic stories. Particularly, at the end of July in the Mont Blanc area of France, human remains were found, believed to be passengers from an Air India Boeing 707 flight that crashed in 1966. All 117 people on board perished in this tragedy. These discoveries serve as reminders of the dangers and inevitable destruction caused by climate change on living environments and forgotten historical sites. These stories not only remind us of the past, but also serve as a warning about the impacts of climate change, especially in vulnerable areas such as high mountain ranges. The 700-year-old Chinese beauty mummy. In 2011, during the expansion of a road in Taizhou, Jiangsu Province, China, workers unexpectedly discovered an ancient coffin buried about 6.5 feet underground. Upon making this discovery, they immediately contacted experts from the Taizhou Museum to handle the situation. Upon reaching the site, archaeologists confirmed that it was an ancient coffin, but what they found inside exceeded expectations. The coffin contained a well-preserved mummy wrapped in several layers of cloth and fine silk. Surrounding the coffin was a layer of brown liquid. When the silk layers were removed, the experts discovered a nearly intact female body, still wearing jewelry. What was particularly remarkable was that her eyebrows and eyelashes had not fallen out. The mummy is estimated to be about 5 feet tall and has been named the Taizhou mummy, or the Chinese beauty mummy, by local newspapers. Based on the artifacts and jewelry, experts believe the woman lived during the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, and the mummy is approximately 700 years old. Among the jewelry, a prominent green ring indicates that she belonged to the nobility of the time. The excellent preservation of the mummy has allowed archaeologists to learn much about the society and hierarchical structure of the Ming Dynasty. However, the mysterious brown liquid surrounding the body remains an unsolved question. Some experts suggest it could be a natural preservation method due to the unique burial environment, which halted the decomposition process by limiting oxygen and bacterial activity. With many unanswered questions regarding the woman's identity, social status, and cause of death, Chinese archaeologists are continuing their research. The discovery of the Taizhou mummy has sparked curiosity and interest in ancient embalming techniques and opened up opportunities to explore the long-hidden mysteries of China's past. The mysterious alien mummy. In 1996, a mysterious event shook the scientific community and UFO enthusiasts alike. In the town of Kishtim in Chelyabinsk region, Russia, the police discovered a small, oddly shaped mummy. Due to its tiny size and characteristics that differed from any known animal or human, this mummy quickly became known as the Kishtim alien. The discovery caused a stir in the scientific community as local medical experts conducted an autopsy and concluded that the mummy did not belong to any Earth-originating creature. The skull structure of the strange being was shocking to doctors. It consisted of only 6 bones, unlike the typical structure, with the 4 main bones displaying features that could not be explained by congenital deformities. Its appearance was very different from a human, with a large misshapen head and eyes that took up most of the face. According to researchers, the Kishtim alien may have had a completely different appearance from any earthly creature when it was alive. The story became even more mysterious when researchers were unable to determine the origin of the being. One of the key figures in the investigation was Vadim Chernobrov, a UFO researcher who traveled from Moscow to examine the mummy. Chernobrov believed it was a groundbreaking discovery, but all attempts to verify it failed, as the mummy mysteriously vanished without leaving any trace. What made this case even more eerie were a series of strange accidents and the deaths of the researchers. Shortly after contacting the mummy, researcher Tamara Prosverina had a car accident and passed away. Chernobrov, while conducting his research, suddenly became paralyzed from the waist down and died shortly afterward. Another scholar, Mark Milkiker, who had examined the body, suddenly died of a heart attack upon returning to Moscow. These events led many to believe that the Kishtim alien mummy carried a terrible curse. The disappearance of the mummy and the strange deaths have only made the story of the Kishtim alien more mysterious than ever, raising unanswered questions about extraterrestrial beings and supernatural phenomena that may be lurking right beneath our noses. The 3-million-year-old child's remains. In 2000, an archaeological team led by Zarasene in Ethiopia made an incredibly important discovery: the remains of a 3-year-old girl known as Dakika. She lived and died during the early stages of human evolution around 3 million years ago. What makes this discovery so special is that her skeleton was not only nearly complete, but also contained many crucial clues about the origins and evolution of humankind. Though her skeleton was still quite immature, it displayed several significant features. The mummy had a complete set of baby teeth and characteristics such as a long face, flat nose, and curved finger bones, similar to those of apes. This suggests that Dikika could climb trees as easily as a monkey, although she was already capable of walking on two legs. Additionally, bone fragments found in her throat opened up important hypotheses about the development of speech in humans. These features are key factors in the study of brain evolution and human communication abilities. The area where Dikika's remains were found is also remarkable. Located in a harsh, arid region subjected to many natural challenges and wildlife, it was once a lowland area. However, thanks to thick layers of gravel and sand surrounding it, her body was perfectly preserved for thousands of years. Archaeologists spent 5 years excavating and studying the skeleton, carefully using acid to drill through each layer of rock. What makes this discovery even more extraordinary is the study of her brain, which had a volume of about 330 cubic centimeters, similar to the brain of a 3-year-old chimpanzee. This further supports the theory of the slow development of ancient human brains and the significant dependency of children on their parents during the early stages of life. Although Dikika's life was brief, her discovery represents a major milestone in the process of human evolution, providing invaluable insights into the physiological and psychological traits of our ancestors and shedding light on our evolution over millions of years. The innovative Egyptian mummies. Recently, scientists discovered a large tomb in Aswan containing 20 strange Egyptian mummies. However, these individuals were not from ancient Egypt, but rather were forgotten beings that had remained hidden for centuries. The story of this tomb begins with a Greek-Roman tomb that had long been looted by ancient tomb robbers. The tomb, designated AGH-032, has a unique structure. A portion of it rises above the ground and is made of sandstone and mud brick, while the lower part is carved directly into the rock. Archaeologists have previously found over 300 graves in the area, dating from the 6th century BCE to the 4th century CE, and the recently discovered tomb dates back to a similar period. However, the mummies in this tomb differ from those of ancient Egyptian nobility. The bodies were embalmed using traditional Egyptian mummification methods, but in a simpler and more rudimentary manner. Their coffins were mostly made of clay and sandstone, and the mask on the coffins was crafted from ancient colored cardboard, coated with layers of fiber or papyrus. Notably, the tomb also contained many fascinating artifacts, including animal bones, pottery shards, and ritual tables and dishes used in ceremonies for the dead. A copper necklace engraved with Greek lettering and a few stelae featuring hieroglyphs, surprisingly overlooked by the tomb robbers, became crucial clues for researchers. These findings demonstrate the cultural interaction between the Greeks, Romans, and Egyptians. Greek history in Egypt dates back to the 7th century BCE, reaching its peak in the 4th century BCE when Alexander the Great conquered Egypt and founded the city of Alexandria. After that, Egypt was ruled by the Roman Empire starting in 30 BCE, creating a complex and unique Greek-Roman culture in the region. The discoveries from tomb AGH-032 serve as a vibrant testament to the blending of these cultures and the remnants that still remain from this glorious period. The remains of powerful women from ancient Spain. Dr. Brenna Hassett, a biological anthropologist, shared her fascinating yet sometimes eerie work. Her work mainly revolves around excavating remains from the past, studying the lives and deaths of the deceased. While this may sound odd to some, for Hassett, it's an opportunity to uncover untold stories about our ancestors. Recently, he was excited by a significant discovery published in Antiquity. This was the 3,700-year-old tomb found in Spain, containing the remains of a man and a woman, along with valuable personal items. What particularly caught the attention of archaeologists was the woman's remains. She was buried with a bracelet, necklace, and an exquisite silver crown. These items were not only valuable art pieces, but also important clues about the deceased's social status. The discovery of such precious items in a woman's tomb challenged long-held assumptions that power in ancient societies was always held by men. Hassett suggested that the woman may have been not only an important family member, but also held a high social position, possibly even political power. This discovery was a shock to previous understandings of ancient societies, where the role of women was often undervalued or overlooked. The valuable items buried with her proved that in some civilizations, women not only played significant roles, but could wield power equal to, or even surpassing, that of men. This is a prime example of how history can sometimes contain surprising stories that we never expected. Treasure worth $4.5 million. In August 2015, William Bartlett, a treasure hunter from Florida, made an astonishing discovery when he found 350 Spanish gold coins valued at up to $4.5 million on a shipwreck from 300 years ago. This event occurred while Bartlett and two colleagues were operating the SV Capitana of the Brisbane Company off the coast of Vero Beach, Florida. Upon discovering the treasure, Bartlett immediately reported it to the salvage company he was working for, which was related to the wreck of the 1715 Fleet Queen's jewels. Among the 350 gold coins, there were 9 extremely rare Royal 8 Escudos coins, with only about 20 similar coins remaining in the world today. However, the search was not easy, as the coins were scattered over a vast area. The salvage team spent 5 days recovering the entire treasure. Notably, Bartlett stated that he was not treasure hunting for monetary gain and refused to take a commission from this discovery. It is known that approximately 300 years before this treasure was found, a massive storm sank 11 ships loaded with valuables that were heading to Spain. The entire fleet was driven ashore by the storm off the eastern coast of Florida and was lost. Moreover, in May 2016, 2 divers continued the story of forgotten treasures by discovering a shipwreck that was around 1,600 years old near the port of Caesarea in the Mediterranean Sea. They unearthed a bronze lamp from ancient Rome, a statue of the moon goddess Luna, along with many other valuable artifacts. Among these were 2 metal ingots weighing about 18 kilos and thousands of ancient coins, which garnered significant attention. These discoveries not only hold material value, but also open the door to exploring the history, culture, and untold stories of past generations. The mysterious frozen mummies. Researchers have recently announced the discovery of a collection of mysterious Inuit family mummies that are estimated to be 500 years old, remarkably well preserved. This is one of the most impressive archaeological finds in North America, as these mummies were not only preserved under special conditions, but also carry an intriguing story about the culture and customs of the Inuit people. The family, consisting of 8 individuals, passed away around 1475 in Greenland, including a 6-month-old infant, an older child, and 6 adult women. What is miraculous is that, despite being centuries old, the mummies still retain many details such as skin, fingernails, and hair, leaving scientists in awe. Experts believe that the extreme and unique climate of the area played a crucial role in preserving the bodies. The intense cold and dryness of the region helped the mummies remain almost perfectly intact through the centuries. However, one controversial and fascinating detail is that the 6-month-old infant may have been buried alive. According to research, this was a traditional Inuit practice. When a mother died, her child was also buried with her to ensure they would be together in the afterlife. The tombs containing these mummies were discovered at Chilakitsok, an Inuit settlement in Greenland, in 1972, and they remain one of the greatest mysteries in archaeology. Currently, researchers continue to study these mummies, hoping to uncover more secrets surrounding the lives and deaths of this Inuit hunter family. The oldest mummy of Tashwinat. The Tashwinat mummy, discovered in a small cave at Wan Muhugiag in the Caucasus Mountains, Fezzan, Libya, in 1958, is one of the most remarkable archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. What is particularly special about this mummy is that it is not related to ancient Egyptian civilization, as many ancient mummies are. This is the mummy of a child, over 5,000 years old, discovered by Professor Fabrizio Mori, and it is currently displayed at the Asiraya Al-Hamra Museum in Tripoli. The child's death occurred around 3000 BC, making the Tashwinat mummy one of the oldest mummies in the world. Notably, the child's organs were removed before burial in the desert, an advanced embalming and preservation method employed by the ancient desert inhabitants. Primitive preservatives were injected into the child's body to help maintain its condition as best as possible at that time. Carbon dating shows that, despite the passage of thousands of years, the mummy remains in relatively good condition, demonstrating that ancient peoples had unique and effective body preservation techniques. Interestingly, the Tashwinat mummy predates even the oldest known ancient Egyptian mummies, which we are more familiar with. The discovery of this mummy opened a new chapter in the study of ancient cultures in North Africa, confirming that desert dwellers had techniques and knowledge that far surpassed what we had imagined about ancient civilizations. The Tashwinat mummy is not only a valuable archaeological artifact, but also perhaps a testament to the development of ancient cultures in the Sahara Desert region. Strange and unique, yet full of mysteries. The 2,000-year-old couple mummies. Recently, archaeologists made a remarkable discovery in the ancient city of Taposiris Magna, located on the Nile Delta in Egypt. Two mummies, a man and a woman, dating back 2,000 years, were unearthed, and what stunned experts was the embalming process and the valuable grave goods they were buried with. The couple had been carefully embalmed and their bodies were covered in gold leaf, a lavish burial ritual indicating that they were likely highly influential figures in ancient Egyptian society. However, despite the exquisite nature of their embalming, their tomb was not sealed, resulting in the mummies being repeatedly exposed to moisture over the 2,000 years. As a result, even though traces of an elaborate embalming process remained, the mummies were no longer as intact as the ancients would have hoped. Nevertheless, archaeologists found many valuable grave goods, particularly 200 coins bearing the image of Cleopatra, clear evidence of their era and culture. Another interesting detail was that on the body of one of the mummies, the gold leaf still preserved an image of a scarab beetle, an iconic symbol of rebirth in ancient Egyptian culture. This suggests that the couple might have been priests or high-ranking religious figures, serving as intermediaries between the earthly realm and the gods. These hypotheses gain further support as experts believe that the lavishness of their burial and the religious symbols found among the grave goods indicate that the couple likely belonged to the upper class or had close ties to religious rituals in ancient Egypt. You might find it hard to believe, but for archaeologists, this discovery not only sheds light on the mysteries of ancient Egyptian life and beliefs, but also serves as a clear testament to the development of this civilization thousands of years ago. Thought opening the 2,500-year-old coffin. The shocking scene inside stunned scientists. 2,500-year-old skeletons of women likely sold into slavery. In the Negev desert, archaeologists uncovered a burial site containing at least 52,500-year-old skeletons, which are likely the remains of women who were sold into slavery. The burial site consists of two large tombs located at an ancient crossroads where merchants from various cultures once passed to trade goods and resources. Unlike the typical round burial sites found in the Negev, the newly discovered tombs are square in shape, one measuring 7 by 7 meters and the other 4.5 by 4.5 meters. Their location is also quite significant. Tali Erickson Guinea, an archaeologist with the Israel Antiquities Authority, said, "This type of tomb has never been discovered in the area, and it is not linked to any known settlement." The tombs are located at the intersection of two important ancient roads that ran from west to east, from Egypt to Wadi Araba in Jordan and the Arabian Peninsula. Researchers suggest that the ancient people may have been buried here because crossroads were considered sacred places in ancient times. Some of the artifacts found in the tombs indicate that the skeletons likely belonged to adult women, though further analysis is needed to confirm this. For example, the two tombs contained iron and bronze jewelry, pottery, and cypress shells from the Red Sea, items used to ward off evil spirits and bring good luck. Archaeologists believe the skeletons may belong to women who were trafficked, though additional evidence is needed to confirm this. These women may have been bought from Gaza or Egypt and were likely intended for sale as brides or prostitutes in Arabia, possibly to serve in rituals. Ancient records, including Manayan inscriptions in Yemen, have documented the practice of selling women in this region. The positions of some of the skeletons suggest they might have been moved from their original spots to make room for others, implying that the tombs were used over a long period of time. Experts are currently preserving and restoring the site to continue their research, which will provide more information about the ancient trade networks. 25,000-year-old treasure. In the Santa Helena cave area, located in the Mato Grosso state of central Brazil, archaeologists recently uncovered several pendants made from a strange material, providing enough data to potentially rewrite many of the historical and archaeological records of humanity. Previously, it was believed that the communities on this young continent first appeared only a few thousand to over 10,000 years ago, with people migrating from other continents before the landmasses fully separated. However, the treasures recently uncovered have revealed the true age of the ancient human remains at Santa Helena. These included fragments of bones from 3 ancient sloths, an extinct species that disappeared over 10,000 years ago, which were crafted into pendants. The careful crafting of these artifacts proves that they could only have been made by human hands. Particularly, the sediment layer in which the pendants were found also helped the research team determine that the artifacts are at least 25,000 years old, pushing back the timeline of human presence in South America much further than previously thought. The researchers from the Federal University of São Carlos, Brazil, also discovered layers of giant sloth bones stacked within the cave sediments where the pendants were found. This suggests that indigenous South American communities may have existed even longer than originally believed, primarily hunting these large, docile creatures for food and tools. This discovery has resolved the previous debate about evidence suggesting human presence 22,000 years ago at the Toca da Tirapeia site in eastern Brazil. Therefore, the treasures from Santa Helena have truly altered the timeline of human history, forcing anthropologists to rewrite the ancient history of South America and redraw the global migration map. Although how humans migrated from Africa to the Americas remains unclear, this finding is a major step in understanding that journey. The massive treasure in Kentucky fields. While digging in a field, a farmer in Kentucky, USA, discovered hundreds of gold and silver coins. These rare coins are believed to date back to the time of the American Civil War. The treasure is estimated to be worth millions of dollars. The exact location of the find, as well as the identity of the person who discovered the treasure, has not been disclosed. However, in a video posted online, the lucky farmer shared, "This is the most unbelievable thing that has ever happened to me." The collection includes $1, $10, and $20 gold coins. After the coins were brought to the surface, they were evaluated to be in remarkable condition, still shiny despite being buried for a long time without anyone knowing. Upon evaluation, it was found that among the 700 coins, some were minted between 1850 and 1862, along with several rare coins. Additionally, the collection includes 20 Liberty coins worth $10, minted between 1840 and 1862, and 8 Liberty coins worth $20, minted between 1857 and 1862, with an estimated value reaching millions of dollars. Liberty coins were minted in the United States from the late 19th to early 20th century to support the economy during that time. Ryan McNutt, an archaeology expert from the University of South Georgia, believes the coins might have been buried before the Confederate raids from June to July 1863, led by General John Hunt Morgan. At this time, Kentucky was a neutral state, the boundary between the northern and southern United States. It witnessed many fierce battles, and it is believed that wealthy Kentuckians at the time buried large amounts of coins to prevent them from being stolen by the Confederate forces. The American Civil War took place from 1861 to 1865 between the Union government in the North and the Confederate forces in the South. Ultimately, the Union won, and the war ended after the battle on April 9, 1865. The 2,000-year-old city humanity never knew. An ancient, mysterious city, seemingly lost from the historical records of ancient Spain, has recently come to light. There was no previous mention or doubt about its existence. The city, discovered near the town of Deza in the Soria province of Spain, is believed to belong to the Celtiberians, a people who were thought to have only lived as nomads in the central northeastern region of the Iberian Peninsula. The excavation, led by the Polytechnic University of Madrid, has revealed the ruins of a city that dates back more than 2,000 years, along with the remains of a large Roman fort. According to Vicente Alejandre, the mayor of Deza, there have been no prior studies or efforts to uncover the historical importance of this area. The region had largely been untouched due to its proximity to a stone quarry, which has been the primary source of stone for the modern city. Comparing the findings with historical records, experts suspect that this could be the legendary city of Titiakos, which ancient texts never clearly located. Titiakos was a stronghold of the Celtiberians during the Sertorian War, an important period in ancient Spanish history. The Sertorian War was a civil conflict between the rebellious forces of the Roman general Sertorius and the Roman government from 80 to 72 BCE. The entire region became part of the Hispania Citerior province of the Roman Empire after being conquered between 195 and 72 BCE. This could explain the nearby Roman fort, possibly a military base to protect the city. The findings provide crucial insights into the history of the area and might confirm that the legendary capital of the Celtiberians, Titiakos, was real. Spanish archaeologists are continuing their excavations and conducting further research to verify the Titiakos hypothesis and study the remaining artifacts. Ancient human remains with heart-shaped skulls. A research team from the Institute of Anthropology and National History of Mexico recently discovered 2 skulls, which may have been intentionally deformed into a heart shape, at the Casa Colorada complex in the La Ferreria archaeological site in northwestern Mexico. These skulls belong to 2 of the 16 individuals buried at this site, including the remains of 8 adults aged 30 to 40 and several children aged 1 to 7. Most of the skeletons were broken, with only 3 adult remains well preserved. The experts noted that the 2 skulls were intentionally deformed to resemble heart shapes when viewed from certain angles, a phenomenon previously undocumented at the La Ferreria site. Intentional skull deformation was a practice recorded in some ancient cultures, including those in Mesoamerica, which includes much of Mexico and Central America. The deformation prevents normal skull development, resulting in distinctive shapes. The skull's development is altered by applying force, which can be done using various techniques such as binding the head between wooden pieces. Such methods are usually applied during infancy when the skull is soft and flexible. La Ferreria was inhabited by pre-Hispanic people before Spanish explorers arrived in Central and South America around 600 to 1350 CE. The site contains several notable archaeological remains, including a circular ceremonial space, pyramid-like structures, and ball courts. The Casa Colorada complex, which dates from 600 to 950 CE, is located in the upper part of La Ferreria and covers 600 square meters. It consists of 9 rectangular structures arranged around a central square. Previous excavations have also revealed several tombs, leading researchers to conclude that this area was used as a burial space. Cretaceous period, monster fossils. A volcanic catastrophe during the Cretaceous period, around 145 to 66 million years ago, frozen the deadly struggle between 2 prehistoric creatures, resulting in one of the most horrifying fossils in paleontological history. An international team of scientists, led by paleontologist Gang Han from the University of Haiyang Science and Technology in China, studied the 2 skeletons to identify the creatures and understand what happened in their final moments. The results were even more shocking than anticipated. Initially, it was apparent that one of the creatures was a dinosaur and the other a smaller animal. The dinosaur was identified as Psittacosaurus lugiatunensis, curled up with its ribs trapped in the sharp-toothed mouth of its predator. The dinosaur's beak was also firmly held by the predator's front legs, while its hind legs were trapped by the enemy's thighs. The eerie preservation of the 2 skeletons allowed scientists to quickly identify the predator as Repenomamus robustus, an early mammal. Jordan Mallon, a paleontologist from the Canadian Museum of Nature, stated, "I knew they ate smaller psittacosaur dinosaurs, but this is the first time we've seen evidence of one of these creatures attacking a much larger prey." When the discovery was made, the first thought was that the small predator had eaten the dinosaur's carcass. However, closer analysis of the dinosaur skeleton confirmed that it was alive when it was attacked, simply losing the battle for survival. This discovery is considered extremely important, not only because mammal fossils from the Cretaceous period are rare, but also because it has revealed the predatory behavior and hunting abilities of what seem like one of the gentlest creatures of the Mesozoic era. Moreover, early mammals laid the foundation for modern mammals, which survived the mass extinction 66 million years ago and became the dominant species, replacing the dinosaurs. Therefore, according to researchers, studying these ancient mammals is key to understanding modern humans. Venus treasure, 1008, 100 years old. A recently excavated treasure in the city of Rennes, France, includes small statues depicting the goddess Venus, a potter's kiln, ancient coins, clothing fasteners, and more. The excavation site is an ancient shale quarry that was abandoned by the Romans in the 1st century AD and later became a massive garbage dump over the centuries. These items, likely discarded by the ancient people, have survived for 1,800 years and are now priceless artifacts, especially because they are so well preserved. Historical records indicate that the city in northwestern France was founded in the 1st century AD as Roman town Condate Redonum. The town's houses, walls, and public buildings were constructed with many stones, and part of the structure has been preserved to this day. The ancient quarry-turned-dump was first investigated in early March when archaeologists from the French National Institute for Archaeological Research and Conservation announced that a nearby quarry might have been the source of stone used in the town's construction. This discovery will significantly enhance our understanding of Roman-era building and mining techniques, skills for which the Romans were famous throughout the Mediterranean. Ghost ship, containing 1,200-year-old queen's remains. Archaeologists from the Norwegian Institute for Cultural Heritage Research have discovered a 19-meter-long ghost ship buried beneath a field in Gjellestad, southeast of Oslo. The ship is believed to have been buried between 750 and 850 AD. Ground-penetrating radar revealed the ship's image beneath the field, which farmers have been plowing over for decades. The ghost ship lies within a vast ancient cemetery containing at least 20 graves. The ship itself is a grave, as using ships as coffins was a special Viking tradition for honoring nobles, warriors, and other esteemed individuals in society. At 19 meters in length, this burial ship is especially large. Although it is unclear whether it was a sailing ship or a rowing boat, initial surveys suggest it has been well preserved. The burial site is located next to another famous Viking burial site, the Gjell Mound, which dates back to around 400 to 500 AD. Based on the size, shape, and other undeclared features of the ghost ship, archaeologists believe that the person buried within it was likely a queen, a king, or a great warrior. Archaeologists suggest that Viking ship burials, surrounded by many other graves, symbolize the ultimate expression of wealth, status, and connections in Scandinavian society during the Iron Age. The ghost ship will be excavated and reconstructed, offering a glimpse into the shipbuilding techniques that became legendary among the Vikings. 200,000-year-old tar kiln. Experts from the University of Tübingen, the University of Strasbourg, and the State Prehistory Museum in Halle, Germany, have analyzed complex chemical traces on Neanderthal artifacts to unravel one of the most debated mysteries of the past. A shocking series of archaeological findings reveal that extinct human ancestors, the Neanderthals, mastered the technique of producing birch tar. This substance, which humanity once believed was only produced by modern Homo sapiens in the past few thousand years, is now shown to have been used by Neanderthals. When birch tar artifacts first appeared, it caused much debate, especially since it seemed to have been deliberately used as an adhesive, waterproofing agent, and antiseptic. The prevailing theory was that Neanderthals stumbled upon birch tar by accident, scraping it off while burning birch bark. However, new analyses confirm the presence of tar-producing kilns underground. The chemical composition of the ancient birch tar suggests that it formed through a low-oxygen process that could only have been achieved by deliberately wrapping birch bark and setting it alight. Such a complex setup would have required a specific formula and plan, similar to how we produce synthetic materials today. The artifacts also show that these non-modern humans not only invented this technique, but also improved it, independently of Homo sapiens. With the first synthetic materials created on Earth, early evidence of advanced weaving techniques, exceptional craftsmanship, and organized feast practices, the Neanderthals are increasingly proving their remarkable level of development, perhaps even surpassing that of early Homo sapiens. Neanderthals, a close relative to Homo sapiens in the genus Homo, went extinct about 30,000 years ago and frequently interbred with our ancestors, leaving traces of their DNA in many modern populations, especially in northern Europe. Ice Age mammoth fossils. Around 200,000 years ago, a magnificent and mysterious scene unfolded near the town of Swindon, where massive mammoth bones were uncovered, including those of 2 adult mammoths, 2 juveniles, and 1 infant. These mammoth remains, each weighing up to 10 tons, provide evidence of a time when humans and these colossal creatures coexisted in harsh conditions. This discovery is not only a remarkable find in natural history, but also reveals a fascinating connection between Neanderthals and the Ice Age wildlife. The fossils were discovered at a gold mine site, which not only contains mammoth remains, but also evidence of other giant creatures, such as moose with antlers measuring over 10 meters in length. These animals lived and evolved alongside dung beetles, tiny creatures that fed on the dung of larger animals and used it as shelter. Additionally, preserved pollen samples, seeds, and plant fossils, some from extinct species, were found, offering crucial clues about the Ice Age ecosystem and shedding light on how our human ancestors may have survived. Neanderthals, the extinct humans who once inhabited this area, had to adapt to a harsh environment where plunging temperatures forced them to migrate south. Archaeologists have uncovered stone tools used by the Neanderthals and even found signs of butchering on some of the bones, suggesting that Neanderthals may have hunted these giant mammoths. However, what particularly astonishes scientists is the rarity of mammoth skeletons found in such well-preserved conditions. This offers not only a clearer picture of Ice Age creatures, but also raises unresolved questions. Were these mammoths swept away by a massive ice flood? Or were they victims of brutal hunts by the Neanderthals themselves? The 14 oldest animal fossils in strange poses, recently discovered, have shocked archaeologists. 560-million-year-old marine animal fossil. British scientists have discovered the fossil of a predatory marine animal that lived during the Ediacaran period, 560 million years ago. The specimen, unearthed in Charnwood Forest in Leicestershire, central England, could be the ancestor of today's Cnidaria, including jellyfish, which contains 11,000 species, most of which live in marine environments. The research team named the new species Aurora lumina attenboroughi, with the first part meaning dawn lantern in Latin, and the second part honoring the legendary British naturalist Sir David Attenborough. With an age of 560 million years, this species is the oldest known carnivorous animal, appearing 20 million years earlier than the previous record holder. This creature used its dense tentacles to catch food in the primitive oceans of Earth. Its 20 centimeters long fossil is imprinted on a slab of sandstone, surrounded by other fossilized forms. It was likely buried in a flow of lava and volcanic ash running down a steep underwater slope. The remaining imprint on the slab suggests it had a branched body and was protected by a continuous skeleton. Part of the skeleton was embedded in the seafloor, which we can't see. Unfortunately, the fossil is incomplete. This is the oldest skeleton we have ever known. Although only one fossil has been found, there could be many more specimens out there, holding the key to the moment when complex life began on Earth, which researchers and archaeologists must explore further in the future. Tank-like dinosaur fossil. One of the recently discovered dinosaur fossils, preserved in the best condition ever, features a set of scales unlike any other armored dinosaur. This dinosaur, named Borealopelta markmicheli, was like a Humvee armored vehicle from the Cretaceous period. Despite its impressive size, similar to a tank, this dinosaur also had scales that helped camouflage it and avoid being eaten. Spectral analysis of the scales of this 110-million-year-old herbivorous dinosaur reveals the presence of pigments. Its upper body was darker, while its belly was lighter. This is a camouflage technique known as countershading. Researcher Jakob Vinther believes that colors in animals are often used for showing gender, regulating body temperature, communication, and other purposes. But in this new species, such pigmentation also helped them hide from predators. If detected, their heavy steel-like armor would protect them from harm. However, the massive size of Borealopelta markmicheli made it difficult for this herbivorous dinosaur to escape. Scientists can study its 3D armor structure thanks to the remarkably well-preserved fossils. Caleb Brown from the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology said, "Typically, when we find dinosaurs, we often find small bone fragments and sometimes soft parts. But in this case, the entire skin on the front of its body has been preserved, so it looks like we're looking back in time to the Cretaceous period." Initially, these fossils were thought to be the oldest ever found in Alberta, Canada, when they were discovered by an excavator operator 6 years ago. Now, they are on display at the Royal Tyrrell Museum of Paleontology. Mermaid fossil from 12,000 years ago in Yugoslavia. When people mention mermaids, they immediately think of the character The Little Mermaid from the fairy tale by Danish author Hans Christian Andersen. However, mermaids are not merely a product of imagination, as archaeologists have discovered fossils of a half-human, half-fish creature in several parts of the world. In 1991, scientists unearthed the first intact fossil of a mermaid and found that the beautiful mermaid from the legends might have been a fierce, dangerous predator, capable of killing marine creatures and unfortunate sailors, much like a bloodthirsty shark. The fossil, discovered in a limestone slab on the coast of Yugoslavia near the seaside city of Šibenik, Croatia, was perfectly preserved. It had a mouth with strong jaws and razor-sharp teeth. This creature was female and likely roamed the oceans about 12,000 years ago. It died in a landslide beneath the sea, was encased in limestone, and gradually turned into a fossil. This is the most complete mermaid fossil ever found in the world. This shows that this species went beyond myth and fiction. They really did exist in our world. It also demonstrates that mermaids are vastly different from the beautiful mermaids in fairy tales. They were actually vicious predators that survived by eating their prey. The female mermaid, as depicted today, is often portrayed as a beautiful, graceful being, quite different from the real-life version of 12,000 years ago. Though the mermaid fossil discovered on the coast of Yugoslavia had a rather crude and ugly shape, this does not lead to a general conclusion about all mermaids. Just like with human populations, mermaids might have had many different types, races, and ethnicities. This is especially plausible given that mermaid legends exist around the world, not just in one specific region. Spiked dinosaur fossil. The ankylosaur dinosaurs from the Cretaceous period are best known for their armor-like backs covered with sharp spikes, and until now, their fossils had only been found in North America. However, this time, scientists have discovered a unique ankylosaur fossil from the Middle Atlas Mountains in Morocco, making it the first ankylosaur found in Africa. Upon examining the newly discovered fossil, researchers noticed that the sharp spikes were attached directly to the skeleton, a feature never seen before in dinosaurs. Typically, the spiked armor of Stegosaurus and ankylosaurs is connected to the skin, not to the skeleton. In this case, the spikes were not only firmly attached to the skeleton, but also connected to the ribs. This indicates that it is completely different from any previously discovered species. The fossil dates back to the Middle Jurassic period, about 168 million years ago, suggesting that this dinosaur might have been one of the first ankylosaurs on Earth. This discovery marks the first ankylosaur from Africa, from a very early period. Ankylosaurs are well known in the northern continents, especially North America and Asia, but they are rarely found in the southern continents. Therefore, this discovery in Morocco also suggests that many more fossils could be found in this mysterious dark continent. Giant ant fossil 50 million years old. Ants are typically known as small insects that wander around and work in groups. But what if, about 50 million years ago, some species were as large as a robin? Recently, a research team from Simon Fraser University discovered a fossil of a giant queen ant in Canada, specifically in British Columbia. Titanoboa, an extinct species of giant carnivorous ant, was first found in North America after previous discoveries in Germany and the UK. Interestingly, this extinct giant ant was large enough to have a body mass equivalent to that of a robin, with a wingspan of 31 centimeters. After discovering the fossil, researchers compared it with another Titanoboa fossil found a decade earlier, which is preserved in a museum in Wyoming. This newly discovered ant and the fossil from British Columbia share the same age as other Titanoboa fossils previously found in Germany and the UK. This raises the question of how these ancient insects managed to travel between continents, appearing on both sides of the Atlantic almost simultaneously. In the past, Europe and North America were connected by land through the Arctic, researchers noted. However, there are questions about whether the climate at that time would have supported migration. The team also discovered that the largest modern-day queen ants only live in hot climates, primarily in tropical regions. This suggests that the size of these creatures would thrive in high temperatures and would not survive in cold environments. However, this creates a dilemma, as the more temperate climate of the Arctic would not have been warm enough for Titanoboa to cross. Ice Age mammoth fossils. Well-preserved mammoth bone fossils have been found, belonging to 2 adult mammoths, 2 near-adult mammoths, and 1 newborn. Their bones were discovered alongside a Neanderthal hand axe and small flint scrapers, which were used to scrape animal hides in a cave near Swindon in Wiltshire, southwest England. The artifacts at this site were so well preserved that archaeologists also found bones of brown bears, steppe bison, seeds, pollen, delicate beetle wings, and freshwater snail shells. All these findings contribute to unraveling the story of the environment at the excavation site hundreds of thousands of years ago. This helps researchers understand more about the appearance of Neanderthals and the lives of ancient human ancestors, alongside giant creatures like mammoths in the context of rapidly changing climates. However, research is still ongoing to explore why this site contains so many mammoth bones and whether they were hunted by our Neanderthal ancestors. Researchers estimate that Neanderthals inhabited the area from 210,000 to 220,000 years ago, before the dramatic temperature drop of the Ice Age caused their extinction around 200,000 years ago. Currently, there is no evidence to suggest they lived there between 60,000 and 180,000 years ago. Other fossils, including tusks, leg bones, vertebrae, and ribs, were also found from a smaller species of steppe mammoth, which was less hairy than the descendants of the woolly mammoths. Some steppe mammoths reached 4 meters at the shoulder, but the small bones they found suggest that these creatures had shrunk in size to cope with the increasingly cold climate. Fossil of the largest flying reptile in Australia. With a wingspan of 7 meters and a mouthful of sharp teeth, a newly discovered pterosaur species may have ruled the skies of northeastern Australia about 110 million years ago. This is the largest pterosaur ever found on this continent. The discovery is of great significance, enhancing our understanding of the diversity of pterosaurs in Australia. Scientists have named the species Thapungaka shawi. Fossils of pterosaurs in Australia are extremely rare. Like modern birds, their bones were optimized for flight, being hollow and fragile, which is why very few have survived to the present day. Fewer than 20 specimens have been described from the continent, and only 3 prior to T. shawi were named. The description of this creature is based on a piece of its lower jaw. It was named after the researcher who discovered it, Len Shaw, and incorporates a term from the language of the Wanamara people. According to the research team's reconstruction, the skull of T. shawi would have been around 1 meter long with approximately 40 teeth. This flying monster once soared over the Eromanga Sea, dominating eastern Australia, using its long, powerful jaws to catch fish from the water's surface. Researchers also found evidence of a large, bony crest at the base of the jaw. From this crest, scientists were able to estimate the size of the pterosaur. This suggests that Australia's pterosaurs were on par with their contemporaries from other continents in terms of size. Fossil of a giant prehistoric turtle. Unearthed in Guizhou Province, China, this fossil features a peculiar beak, no teeth, and a smooth body. It has been named Eorhyncocolus sinensis, meaning the first beaked turtle. This turtle species lived during the Triassic period, when dinosaurs began to dominate Earth. Measuring 2.5 meters in length, it surpassed the size record of modern leatherback turtles, making it the largest turtle species ever known to humans. Recent studies have revealed the fascinating role of the turtle's shell. It was used for digging, not for defense. The shell supported the turtle's limbs as it moved sand and dirt. For the scientific community, this newly discovered fossil has shed light on the evolutionary process of turtles, a topic that has sparked debates among biologists for centuries. Progonocales is the oldest known turtle species, with a fully developed body and sharp shell. In 2008, the species Odontochelys semitestacea was found with a shell covering its belly, which surprised scientists. The beaked turtle fossil recently unearthed is evidence of the phenomenon of modular evolution. Modular evolution is the idea that different traits of a species can evolve independently at different rates. This is why not every descendant will inherit the exact traits of its ancestors. Modern turtles have both a shell and a beak, but the evolutionary path to this form was not a straight line. Instead, some turtle relatives had partial shells, while others had beaks. Genetic mutations through natural selection are what led to these features. Fossil of a millipede as large as a crocodile. Many people fear millipedes because of their appearance, but most of them are quite small, with the largest living species today, the giant African millipede, growing up to 30 centimeters long. If you think a 30-centimeter millipede is scary, consider yourself lucky to live in modern times rather than in the past, when millipedes could grow as large as a crocodile. In 2018, a large block of sandstone broke off from a cliff in Northumbria, England, and fell about 6 meters to the beach below. A paleontologist happened to be strolling along the beach and found the rock, realizing it contained the fossil of a giant millipede. The research team from the University of Cambridge later analyzed the fossil and determined that the creature was part of the Arthropleura genus and lived about 326 million years ago. The fossil lacked a head, but the creature was estimated to have been 55 centimeters wide, 2.63 meters long, and could have weighed 50 kilograms when alive. This size made it the largest known invertebrate species at the time. Dr. Davies said, "It was definitely the largest arthropod to have ever appeared on Earth. It was so large that it required 4 people to transport it. In fact, this may not have even been the largest size it reached, as researchers believe the fossil represents only the shed exoskeleton, suggesting that the creature could have continued to grow larger." Fossil of a sea monster with saw-like teeth. At the Sidi Chenain phosphate mine in Karibga province, Morocco, miners working there discovered the remains of a marine reptile resembling a lizard, known as a mosasaur, that lived during the age of dinosaurs. After researchers examined the specimen, they noticed that its unique teeth had features never seen in any other reptile, living or extinct. The research team named this newly discovered sea creature Xenodens kalanashari, with the genus name meaning strange tooth in Greek and Latin, and the species name meaning saw-like in Arabic. The saw-like teeth likely helped X. kalanashari create a shark-like bite, which may have been key to its survival. However, X. kalanashari was not large, about the size of a dolphin, so it likely relied on agility and its weapon-like teeth to overcome underwater threats. During the late Cretaceous period, when X. kalanashari roamed the seas, Morocco was covered by a tropical sea filled with predatory marine animals, including other mosasaurs, long-necked spiny tailfish, giant sea turtles, and swordfish. The researchers wrote in their study that X. kalanashari's unusual teeth may have given it a unique hunting strategy. According to senior researchers at the National Museum of Natural History in Paris, a mosasaur with shark-like teeth is a novel adaptation among mosasaurs, so surprising that it seems like a creature out of an artist's imagination. The discovery of X. kalanashari also adds evidence that the marine reptile ecosystem, as well as the biodiversity of Morocco, thrived during the late Cretaceous period. Fossil of a giant 180-million-year-old sea dragon. A giant marine reptile from the same era, resembling a dolphin, is officially known as an ichthyosaur. These creatures appeared about 250 million years ago and went extinct about 90 million years ago. This nearly complete fossil was discovered in February 2021 at the Rutland Nature Reserve in England. When experts drained the water from a lake to recreate the landscape, they discovered fossilized vertebrae sticking out of the mud. The fossil is nearly 10 meters long, with a skull weighing 1 ton, and scientists affectionately refer to it as a sea dragon. These prehistoric creatures were at the top of the food chain, apex predators. However, this is just the tip of the iceberg, and who knows, future discoveries may reveal even more interesting facts about these sea dragons. Fossil of a snake weighing over a ton. In 2009, scientists discovered the fossil of what is believed to be the largest snake in the world, with a length of up to 13 meters and a weight of over 1 ton, found in the Sarajan region of northeastern Colombia. This snake species was named Titanoboa carajonensis, meaning giant snake from Carajon. According to a description published in Nature Journal, the Titanoboa was at least 13 meters long and weighed about 1,140 kilograms, with a body width of at least 1 meter. The research team stated that this reptile lived around 58 to 60 million years ago, after the dinosaurs and many other species went extinct 65 million years ago. This giant snake was larger than bison and longer than a bus. As such, the Titanoboa was capable of eating animals the size of cows, and it could likely have swallowed a human instantly. Experts hope that the discovery of this giant snake will open the door to further research into the animals that replaced dinosaurs in the ecosystem during that time. Fossil of a 7-meter crocodile. In 2012, Dr. Mark Young from the University of Edinburgh led a team of scientists who unearthed the fossilized skeletons of ancient crocodiles Plesiosaurus, 6.8 meters long, and Dacosaurus, 4.5 meters long, dating back 150 million years. These fossils were found at 2 locations along the coasts of Dorset and Cambridgeshire, England. The research team noted that, unlike modern crocodiles, these newly discovered prehistoric species were incredibly aggressive predators. Furthermore, the skulls of Dacosaurus and Plesiosaurus were believed to resemble that of the T-Rex dinosaur, but their hunting style was more akin to that of the modern-day orca. They captured prey by opening their mouths, creating suction, and pulling their prey in. The 100-year-old mummy of a girl mysteriously opens her eyes, shocking the world. The story of Rosalia Lombardo, also known as the Girl in the Glass Coffin or the Sleeping Beauty in the Forest, is one of the most bizarre and captivating tales in the worlds of science and tourism. Born in 1918 in Palermo, Italy, she tragically passed away in 1920 at just 2 years old due to pneumonia. However, Rosalia's death was far from ordinary. It marked the beginning of a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Devastated by the loss of his daughter, Rosalia's father, with a broken heart, turned to Alfredo Salafia, a renowned embalmer from Palermo. Hoping to preserve the image of his beloved little girl, he asked Alfredo to perform a special embalming process to ensure that Rosalia's body could remain intact forever. Using a secret formula that even he kept hidden until his death, Alfredo meticulously carried out the process. Rosalia Lombardo's perfectly preserved body is displayed in a glass coffin in the Capuchin catacombs in Palermo, alongside thousands of other mummies. However, what sets her apart is not just the immaculate beauty of her body, but also the mysterious stories surrounding her blinking eyes. Many visitors to the catacombs have reported seeing her eyes as if they are gently blinking. This phenomenon has sparked debates and various theories in the scientific community. One theory suggests that Rosalia's blinking eyes are simply an optical illusion. Dario Piombino Mascali, the curator in charge of the mummies at the catacombs, believes the effect occurs due to changes in light shining through the windows of the coffin, creating a light effect that makes her eyes appear to open and close. However, despite this explanation, many still question the authenticity of the story. Additionally, one of the most fascinating and astonishing discoveries occurred when X-ray scans of Rosalia's body revealed that her bone structure and internal organs were still intact, further reinforcing the mystery behind Alfredo Salafia's embalming process. In particular, Rosalia's brain was visible on the X-ray, although it was only about half the size of a normal brain due to the embalming process. This discovery has made Rosalia Lombardo one of the best preserved mummies in the world. If you've never heard of Rosalia Lombardo, can you imagine the feeling of seeing a 2-year-old girl with a perfect face, her eyes half closed as if she were peacefully sleeping? You'd undoubtedly be drawn in and intrigued by the mysteries surrounding this little girl. This is why it's no surprise that every year, the Capuchin catacombs attract thousands of visitors from around the world, eager to witness the wonder of this mummy. Rosalia's story is not just a strange phenomenon, but also raises important questions about the embalming process and the preservation of bodies across centuries. What do you think about the blinking phenomenon of Rosalia? Could it really be an optical illusion, or is there some strange truth yet to be uncovered? Personally, I still believe there's a true mystery surrounding these mummies. That's why I've explored many other mummies found around the world to help unravel mysteries that perhaps even you couldn't have imagined. So, what are these other mummies? Let's explore them now. The demon mummy with a chilling face. On May 12, 1897, in the Stuyvesant Marsh near the village of Ide, Netherlands, 2 workers were horrified when they discovered a deformed, pitch-black corpse while dredging peat. The sight was so terrifying that everyone fled in fear. Later, frightened by the discovery, the workers decided to cover the body with the very peat they had just dredged, essentially reburying it. The story quickly spread throughout the village, and experts were called in to investigate. At first, everyone assumed the body was that of a recently deceased person due to its well-preserved state. However, the surprising examination results revealed that the body was actually a mummy buried in the peat for over 2,000 years, and it belonged to a woman. The mummy was named Eid Girl and became a significant subject of study for scientists researching ancient human history. Not only was the Eid Girl's body perfectly preserved, but the items found on her also revealed the horrific way in which she died thousands of years ago. A rope was tightly wound around her neck, and near her collarbone there was a stab wound, indicating that she had been attacked and murdered. Most of her hair and teeth were missing. Her hands, feet, and part of her pelvis were severed. Her young face, with its haunting expression, led many to believe that her death had been painful. When the body was first discovered, the world's understanding of archaeology and research was not as advanced, and the mysteries surrounding Eid Girl took over a century to begin unraveling. In 1992, Professor Richard Neave of the University of Manchester in England performed a CT scan of Eid Girl's skull, which helped determine that she had died sometime between 54 BC and 128 AD. She was about 4 feet 3 inches tall and died at around 16 years old. The CT scan also revealed a curved spine, which was identified as scoliosis, and an unusually swollen right foot. Many speculate that she may have been sacrificed in a ritualistic child offering. As for the reason her body was so well preserved, it was due in large part to the tannic acid present in the marsh, which helped protect her. In 1994, experts reconstructed Eid Girl's face, and this is when she gained worldwide fame. People were astonished to see that the dark, horrifying mummy, once thought to be a terrifying figure, was actually a young, beautiful girl with a serene and gentle face. Her facial features were not far from modern-day beauty standards, as many had imagined. Today, Eid Girl is on display at the Drents Museum in Assen, Netherlands, and is considered one of the most important mummy discoveries in recent centuries. If you ever get the chance, you can visit the museum to see this remarkable mummy in person. The mummy of the saintly maiden, beautiful as a goddess. Across the world, there are many cases of incorruptible bodies where corpses remain intact after hundreds or thousands of years, and most of these can be explained scientifically. However, the cases of incorruptible bodies of Saint Bernadette and some other saints and religious figures remain a mystery, puzzling scientists because of their seemingly divine nature. Among the most mysterious of these is the body of Saint Bernadette, also known as the mummy of the beautiful saint, despite the fact that she was never embalmed. So who exactly was Saint Bernadette? She was the firstborn daughter of a poor family of seamstresses from Lourdes in southern France and had been sickly with asthma from a young age. In 1858, at the age of 14, she saw the Virgin Mary appear to her in a cave near the Gave River while she was gathering firewood there. She went home and told her mother about the vision. Rumors spread, and of course, many people didn't believe her. Over the next 5 months, Bernadette experienced 17 more visions of the Virgin Mary, drawing large crowds to the cave. This put Bernadette in danger due to warnings and threats from local authorities. However, Bernadette remained faithful to what she saw and refused to lie, despite pressure from officials. The people grew even more convinced when a spring of water appeared from the cave after Bernadette dug in the ground following the Virgin Mary's instructions. The water was believed to have healing powers, curing many people. During one of her visions, the Virgin Mary told Bernadette that a church should be built at the site, but local authorities tried to block the construction and even attempted to close the spring. However, word of Bernadette and the Virgin Mary's appearances spread to the Queen of France, who intervened to ensure the church would be built. At the age of 22, Bernadette entered a convent, fulfilling her dream, where she devoted herself entirely to God and charity work. She passed away at the age of 35 in 1879 after a long illness. In 1913, Pope Pius X canonized Bernadette, and at that time, her tomb was opened for the first time. People were amazed to find her body perfectly preserved, as though she were still alive. Due to the disruption caused by World War I, 1914 to 1918, the rituals were postponed, and her tomb was reopened in 1919 to complete the ceremonies. By then, Bernadette had been dead for 30 years. Dr. Tordan, the surgeon who witnessed the event, described the scene. The coffin was opened in front of many witnesses, including myself. The saint's body, dressed in her favorite clothes, had no foul odor. Her face, hands, and forearms were exposed. Her head tilted to one side, and her mouth was slightly open, revealing white teeth. Her hands rested on her chest, and her skin was flawless. According to others, Bernadette's left knee was smaller than the right due to the bone tuberculosis she had suffered from. Her clothing was slightly damp. The rosary she held and the copper statue of the Virgin Mary on her chest had rusted, but strangely, her flesh was still intact. Her joints remained supple, and her skin was fresh and elastic. Saint Bernadette was dressed in new clothing and reburied. In 1925, Pope Pius XI canonized Bernadette again, and her tomb was opened for the third time. At the age of 35, the saint still had a serene and beautiful face, as if she were merely sleeping, though her face was slightly darker from the previous cleaning. After her face and hands were coated in wax, her remains were placed in a crystal coffin in the chapel at Lourdes, where they remain to this day for all to see. Lourdes, Bernadette's hometown, has since become one of the largest pilgrimage sites for Catholic believers, and the small spring she dug according to the Virgin Mary's instructions still provides water to visitors today. Numerous ancient corpses have been discovered in well-preserved states, including those of emperors, the wealthy, enlightened monks, and those living in freezing regions. Science easily explains the preservation of these bodies. Large glaciers acted as gigantic freezers, keeping the corpses perfectly preserved over centuries. Some bodies were embalmed by removing the internal organs and wrapping the body in oils and herbs that prevented decomposition. High monks sometimes embalmed themselves by fasting for days, drinking special medicinal liquids to stop metabolic processes, cleaning the body, and leaving only skin and bones before dying in a meditative posture. A common trait of these mummies is that, while they have not decayed, they are stiff, shriveled, and waterless, with gray or black skin. However, there is one exception: the mummy of Lady Qin Chui, the wife of a Han Dynasty official in China who died 2,000 years ago. Discovered in 1972, her body, despite having died at 50, remains plump. Her face, though slightly decomposed, still shows clear features. Her skin remains soft and moist, and her joints are still movable. Surprisingly, her internal organs are intact, and even her stomach and intestines still contain hundreds of melon seeds. Though strange, the preservation of Lady Qin Chui's body has been clearly explained by researchers. Her body was preserved using an extremely scientific method with 20 layers of cloth, immersed in a decomposition-resistant solution containing cinnabar, mercury, and arsenic, and placed in 4 layers of coffins. 5 tons of charcoal were placed around her, and she was buried 50 feet underground. In conclusion, almost all bodies that have survived over time are the result of meticulous preservation or have been accidentally preserved in unique environments that prevent bacterial decay and oxidation. But this is not the case with the body of Saint Bernadette. When she passed away, she was only a simple nun, even disliked by her superior, and her body was buried in a completely ordinary manner without any measures taken to preserve it. The environment where her body was placed was also entirely normal, meaning that other bodies buried there decayed according to natural processes. Scientists cannot explain why this happened, and those who believe in the spiritual realm argue that it was the divine grace of God and the Virgin Mary that created this miracle for their holy daughter. Saint Bernadette is not the only saint with an incorruptible body. Other Catholic saints, like Blessed Anna Maria Taigi from Italy, who passed away in 1837 at the age of 68, have also had their bodies remain intact. She was not a nun, but rather a mother of 7 who received prophetic gifts from God, seeing both the past and future. She lived an exemplary, devout life and was beatified by Pope Benedict XV in 1920. Despite dying at an advanced age, more than 175 years ago, her face remains full, smooth, and youthful. The terrifying discovery. Inside King Solomon's 3,000-year-old tomb that frightened archaeologists. King Solomon, one of the legendary figures in Israel's history, is not only prominent in the Bible, but also widely known for his exceptional leadership skills and ability to build a powerful kingdom. He is a symbol of wisdom and intelligence, famous for resolving complex conflicts and most notably for constructing the legendary temple believed to be the meeting place between the divine and mankind. Solomon's legacy has deeply influenced history, impacting many generations, especially through biblical stories where he is remembered as a just, wise, and powerful king. Recently, Israeli archaeologists made a groundbreaking discovery when they found the long-lost tomb of King Solomon, more than 3,000 years after his death. This discovery has raised many intriguing questions about the secrets the legendary king may have taken with him to the grave, as well as the artifacts that could reveal more about his power and the mysteries surrounding him. Previously, many had doubted the existence of Solomon's tomb, considering it a myth that could never be proven. However, a team of archaeologists led by Dr. Eilat Mazar from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem has made an extraordinary discovery. They have pinpointed the location of King Solomon's tomb in the city of David, an ancient area famously significant in Israel's history. Notably, this is not the first time Dr. Mazar has made significant discoveries. In 1986, she uncovered a large gatehouse about 500 feet north of the city of David, in the Ophel area. Although there wasn't enough evidence to confirm it as a structure of King Solomon, by 2009, when she resumed excavations in the area, new findings clarified that the structure might date back to the 10th century BCE during Solomon's reign. One of the notable discoveries was a massive wall segment approximately 2,100 feet long, known as the Cave of the Kings in Arabic. This wall included a gatehouse, a corner tower, and a royal structure so large that archaeologists speculated it could be part of an even grander building, like a temple or palace. Radiocarbon dating showed that this site dates back to the time of King Solomon's rule. Dr. Mazar remarked that this was the first time they had uncovered a structure from that period, consistent with the biblical descriptions of Solomon's buildings in Jerusalem. In addition, archaeologists found many fascinating artifacts, such as large jars for storing food and water, including one inscribed in Hebrew, suggesting it belonged to a high-ranking official. Small statues and inscribed handles related to King Solomon further added to the historical value of this discovery. Although it's not yet possible to definitively confirm whether Solomon built this structure, Dr. Mazar believes that few kings in the 10th century could have constructed such a large building, and according to the Bible, it could only have been King David or King Solomon. The city of David, where these discoveries were made, is considered the oldest part of Jerusalem and holds profound historical significance. This city not only housed King David's palace, but also many important relics from the Bronze and Iron Ages, evidencing the ancient development of Jerusalem. Excavations here have helped scientists and archaeologists reconstruct a vivid historical picture of the ancient kingdom of Israel. However, amidst these findings, the big question remains whether the tomb of King Solomon and other ancient Israelite kings can be found in this area. While the exact location of the tomb has not yet been determined, recent discoveries have provided a clearer understanding of the history and culture of Jerusalem during the Golden Age of the Kingdom of Israel. Of course, the story of ancient archaeology does not end here. Over the years, archaeologists have made numerous exciting discoveries not only about King Solomon's tomb, but also about other royal tombs. What are these tombs, and what secrets lie within them? Let's explore further in the next section. The ancient tomb of King Herod. After more than 30 years of diligent searching, archaeologist Ehud Netzer from the Hebrew University made the groundbreaking discovery of King Herod's tomb, a figure well known in Jewish history and the New Testament. Herod, the king who ruled Judea during the birth of Jesus Christ, is infamous for his brutal character and horrific actions, including ordering the execution of St. John the Baptist, the herald of Christ's birth. This discovery not only sheds light on a part of history, but also raises many questions about the life and legacy of this controversial king. Herod's tomb was located at the Herodium Fortress, not far from Jerusalem, on a hill shaped like a truncated cone, 2,484 feet above sea level. Herod built this fortress after his victory over the Parthian Empire around 40 BCE. It served not only as a military structure, but also as his final resting place. During excavations, archaeologists found a limestone sarcophagus that had been broken into several pieces, which would have been about 8.2 feet long when intact. The fragments of this sarcophagus still displayed intricate rose patterns, suggesting the lavish nature of Herod's burial. In addition, an ancient staircase was discovered, believed to have been constructed for Herod's funeral rituals, as described by Jewish historian Josephus Flavius in his writings. While no human remains were found at the excavation site, Professor Netzer speculated that the remains might have been displaced during the Jewish revolt against the Roman Empire in the mid-1st century. Despite the tomb being destroyed, the research team remains hopeful of finding other valuable items in the area, such as jewelry or other archaeological relics. King Herod, who ruled Judea from 37 to 4 BCE, is famous not only for his monumental building achievements, but also for his brutal efforts to secure his power. According to the New Testament, Herod ordered the massacre of innocent children to protect his throne, an action that has made him one of the most controversial kings in history. The tomb of the founding emperor of the Northern Zhou Dynasty, China. Chinese archaeologists recently made a remarkable discovery near an airport highway in the city of Hanyang, Shanxi Province. During excavation, they uncovered a 482-foot-long trench leading to a tomb aligned north to south. The tomb contained burial objects, though they had been disturbed, including ceramic vessels, small statues depicting warriors, cavalry units, a camel, and many unidentified creatures. Notably, the tomb's bottom was 32.8 feet deep, creating a mysterious and intriguing space for further exploration. One of the most significant finds was an inscription with the name Wu Wenji, the birth name of Emperor Shian Wen, a prominent emperor in Chinese history. According to a press release from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, KS, the discovery of Emperor Shian Wen's tomb is of great historical significance, as this is the second tomb of a Northern Zhou emperor to be found, following the tomb of Emperor Wu. Emperor Shian Wen ascended the throne at just 15 years old and chose Chang'an as the capital. However, his reign lasted less than a year before he was deposed and later assassinated. Notably, when he ascended the throne, Emperor Shian Wen did not use the title of emperor as previous rulers did, but instead referred to himself as Heavenly King, a decision that reflected his distinct approach to governance and political philosophy. This discovery not only helps clarify the life of an important historical figure, but also opens new opportunities to study the Northern Zhou period, contributing to a fuller understanding of ancient Chinese history. The 1,800-year-old Imperial Tomb Palace. An astonishing archaeological discovery in Henan Province, China, has shocked the scientific community. A ceramic object resembling a basin helped archaeologists identify an ancient tomb complex containing more than 100 tombs, considered an invaluable archaeological treasure. According to Smithsonian Magazine, the basin has a diameter of about 24 inches and is 10 inches deep, with special inscriptions engraved on it. Thanks to these inscriptions, scientists have determined that the tomb complex belongs to Emperor Liu Ji, also known as Emperor Huan of the Han Dynasty, who ruled during the 2nd century CE in ancient China. Dr. Wang Xianqiu, from the Luoyang Institute of Cultural Relics and Archaeology, who led the excavation project, stated that this discovery connected numerous ancient documents and other evidence found at the site, confirming that the tomb complex belonged to an emperor and is a treasure of unimaginable archaeological significance. Notably, the ancient tomb is not merely a burial site, but a lavish complex, built like a palace specifically for the deceased. Since its discovery in 2017, the tomb has revealed more than 100 tombs within a complex that includes houses, roads, wells, and a drainage system. These findings suggest that this site was not only a burial place, but a grand structure intended for the emperor and his attendants. The houses within the complex were likely designated for concubines, guards, and tomb caretakers, who would be buried alongside the emperor to continue serving him in the afterlife. Emperor Huan, a short-lived ruler, passed away at the age of only 35. This imperial tomb palace is believed to have been built by his successor to honor him, serving as a testament to the respect and veneration the court had for the late emperor in ancient China. The most luxurious tomb of a pharaoh in ancient Egypt. The Valley of the Kings, located in Luxor, southern Egypt, is a famous tourist destination along the Nile River. This area houses a collection of ancient tombs of pharaohs, including the tombs of Ramesses VI and Tutankhamun. However, the most spectacular ancient structure in the Valley of the Kings is the tomb of Seti Osiris, designated KV-17. Pharaoh Seti Waimwas, or Menmatre Seti Meyi, was one of the most renowned kings of Egypt's New Kingdom. a historical period that lasted from the mid-16th century BCE to the 11th century BCE. Historical records suggest that Shian Wen reigned for 12 to 15 years, around 1294 to 1279 BCE, and laid the groundwork for his son, Pharaoh Ramesses II, to become one of the greatest pharaohs of the New Kingdom. Archaeologists consider Seti I's tomb to be the longest in the entire royal cemetery, measuring about 449 feet. The resting place of this pharaoh is also considered to be the most elaborately decorated and luxurious in the history of Egyptian tombs. The tomb was discovered on October 16, 1817, by Italian archaeologist and explorer Giovanni Battista Belzoni. At that time, the tomb still contained burial goods, although the treasures and jewels had been looted. Inside, the tomb still has finely crafted, colorful painted walls depicting scenes of everyday life, along with intricate reliefs, bringing us back to the golden era of ancient Egyptian history. The tomb of Seti Wen is the first known to have a burial chamber with a vaulted ceiling. The complex contains 17 rooms and additional chambers. One section of the tomb, known as Corridor K, is still being excavated and contains many mysteries. According to experts, Seti I's tomb was severely damaged during 19th century explorations. In 1828 to 1829, French archaeologist Jean-François Champollion removed some wall sections. The tomb's decorative ceilings, walls, and columns were also damaged during the research. Today, fragments of the tomb are displayed in museums in Berlin, Germany, Paris, France, and Florence, Italy. The sarcophagus of Pharaoh Seti I was also taken to London in the 1820s and is currently on display in the basement of the Sir John Soane Museum in London. The tomb, full of treasures of a French prince. At the end of 2024, archaeologists made a significant excavation in the town of Lavaux, located in the Champagne region of France, where they uncovered the tomb of a Celtic prince from the Iron Age, filled with treasures. This tomb, situated in a suburban trade area, contains many valuable artifacts, mostly from Greece and Etruria. Remarkably, the Celtic prince was buried with his chariot in a mound approximately 131 feet wide. The excavation, led by a team from the National Institute of Preventive Archaeological Research, INRAP, began in October of the previous year. Scientists have determined that the tomb dates back to around the 5th century BCE, during the later part of the Iron Age, a period characterized by the use of iron tools. According to research reports, the center of the tomb complex is a 150-square-foot burial chamber dedicated to a member of the ancient royal family, specifically a native Celtic prince. One of the most notable discoveries at the tomb was a large bronze cauldron, once used for holding wine, originating from Etruscan craftsmen from what is now Italy. This cauldron is intricately decorated with 4 round handles, engraved with the head of the Greek river god Achelous, featuring horns and bull ears, along with lioness heads at the corners. Additionally, the archaeological team discovered a Greek ceramic jar depicting the wine god Dionysus and a perforated silver spoon, possibly used to filter wine. This find clearly demonstrates the trade connections between the Celts and Mediterranean cultures. The mystery of Napoleon's imperial tomb. As the most powerful emperor of France in the early 19th century, Napoleon's tomb is not as extravagant or mysterious as the tomb of China's Emperor Qin Shi Huang, yet it still exudes a sense of grandeur and dignity. Napoleon's tomb is located within the Invalides complex, which includes a museum, a memorial, and several other structures all tied to France's wartime history. Originally built between 1670 and 1676 under King Louis XIV, the site was intended as a hospital and residence for wounded soldiers. Today, several areas of the complex, such as the hospital and veterans care facilities, are still dedicated to French veterans. Over time, as the number of veterans decreased, the area gradually shifted focus and became a historical museum. The Invalides complex is now one of the most famous landmarks in Paris and is considered an architectural masterpiece. It even served as the inspiration for other palaces around the world, such as the Capitol Building and San Francisco City Hall in the United States. One of the most striking features of Napoleon's tomb is the symmetry created by 2 perpendicular wings, which divide the interior into 15 small gardens. The east and west wings house dining halls that can accommodate up to 1,500 people. To the south of the palace is the St. Louis Church, which serves as both a military and royal chapel. With its unique classical structure, the church features a dome gilded with over 22 pounds of gold and a spire reaching over 98 feet high. Walking across the Esplanade des Invalides, a 1,640-foot-long lawn that stretches to the main entrance, visitors begin their journey into Napoleon's tomb. Visitors can start by viewing the tomb of Emperor Napoleon I, followed by tours of the French Army Museum and the Plans Reliefs Museum. Under Napoleon I's rule, the Invalides Complex became the royal military burial site. Napoleon's coffin passed through the Arc de Triomphe, along the Champs-Élysées and through Place de la Concorde before reaching Invalides. Many visitors are surprised by Napoleon's tomb, as it is made of granite and shaped like a stylized horse saddle, crafted from red quartzite, placed at the center of a round crypt. Surrounding the tomb are 12 statues of women wearing wreaths, symbolizing his 12 greatest victories. Additionally, 8 of Napoleon's legendary victories, such as Rivoli, Pyramids, Marengo, and Austerlitz, are engraved on the marble floor. Besides Napoleon, many other famous military figures from World War I and World War II are also laid to rest here. The 3,000-year-old tomb of a Shang Dynasty general in China. In November 2000, a team of archaeologists from the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences began surveying a site near Anyang in Henan Province, China. This area is related to Yinshu, the last capital of the Shang Dynasty, 1600 to 1046 BCE. They used a special tool called the Luoyang shovel, which was invented by tomb robbers and later became a common tool in archaeology. After digging through the hard soil during the winter, they discovered a valuable tomb labeled M54. Initially, the team planned to delay the excavation until spring when the weather would be warmer. However, by mid-December, news of the discovery spread, and tomb robbers began to show up. Fearing that the tomb would be looted, the archaeologists decided to speed up the process. After a week of work, they had cleared the earth covering the tomb, and the results shocked many. The tomb contained the nearly intact remains of a noble from the late Shang Dynasty, preserved almost perfectly. Inside was a black-painted wooden chamber with a deep red coffin and numerous burial items, including 15 human bodies and 15 sacrificial dogs, along with many other items for the afterlife. Over the course of 40 days of excavation, the team discovered 579 artifacts, including bronze, jade, ceramics, stone, bone, and ivory objects. Tomb M54 is the second largest tomb uncovered at Yinshu, second only to the tomb of Fu Hao, the wife of King Wu Ding of the Shang Dynasty. Notable items included a 15.7-pound bronze wine vessel shaped like a wild water buffalo and a 10-inch jade dagger, which showcased the exquisite jade working skills of the time. One of the most intriguing discoveries was a bronze hand. Although its function has not been clearly explained, some researchers speculate that it may have been a prosthetic limb placed alongside the coffin of a person who had lost an arm. However, it remains unanswered whether the hand was used in everyday life or merely as a funerary object. Through analysis of the artifacts and remains, archaeologists determined that the tomb belonged to General Zheng, a famous military leader of the Shang Dynasty. The bronze artifacts in the tomb, especially the collection of weapons, attest to his military achievements. Modern analytical techniques revealed that General Zheng was not a native of Yinshu, but hailed from more than 186 miles away. The wounds on his bones, along with the presence of Sichuan pepper in his remains, suggest that he may have died in battle and was later brought back to the capital for a formal burial. While many questions about the tomb remain unanswered, the discoveries provide archaeologists with valuable insights into the life of one of China's most powerful ancient kingdoms, as well as its advanced civilization and burial customs during the Shang Dynasty. The mummy of a 1,000-year-old beauty is immortal. On July 7, 2002, during the construction of a road from Lianyun Port to the scenic area of Haizhou, China, located about 4.3 miles southwest of the city, the road construction team from the Highway Bureau discovered an ancient tomb. Immediately, experts and museum staff arrived at the site to study and excavate. They uncovered 2 stone coffins and 4 wooden coffins, numbered from 1 to 4, aligned from north to south. The first and second coffins were marked with the words Dong Gong and indicated they contained male remains. The fourth coffin, similar to the first and second, showed almost no remains, with only a few fragments of bones fused with the soil. However, when experts opened the third coffin, a reddish-brown liquid rose up and emitted a pleasant fragrance. Inside, they discovered the well-preserved mummy of a woman whose skin still appeared fresh, as if she had just passed away. The woman in the coffin was around 50 years old, stood 5 feet 2 inches tall, and among the artifacts buried with her was a copper seal, shaped like a turtle button with a radius of 0.5 inches, which bore the clear inscription Lang Hui Bing. This confirmed that the mummy was of a woman named Lang Hui Bing. This is the third incorruptible mummy discovered after more than 2,000 years, dating back to the Han Dynasty, whose skin remained unspoiled. The style of mummification used in this tomb is similar to the Mawang Dui mummies discovered in ancient Han tombs in Changsha, Hunan Province, and in Jingzhou, Hubei Province, China. But compared to the mummies found in Hunan and Hubei, this mummy holds many more mysteries. The identity of Lang Hui Bing. The 3 other coffins contained seals similar to Lang Hui Bing's, but they were so rusted and faded that the inscriptions could not be read. According to historical records from the Han Dynasty, only officials with high ranks, earning between 300 and 2,000 she, an ancient unit of measurement in bounty, were granted the right to have turtle button seals with their names engraved inside. Lang Hui Bing, having been given such a seal, must have held at least the rank of Tai Shu, a high official. The Han Dynasty also had a system of granting noble titles to women. Could Lang Hui Bing have been of royal or noble rank, or was she simply the wife of Dong Gong? While the tombs of the 2 mummies found in Hunan and Hubei were surrounded by large, well-designed burial structures with multiple protective layers, the environment surrounding the tomb in Lianyun Port was quite simple. The stone coffin was only covered by a thin layer of plaster with no thick layers of charcoal or other protective materials like those found in Hubei. The soil surrounding the tomb was also thinner compared to that in Hunan. Yet despite the minimal protection, her body had been perfectly preserved for over 2,000 years. Why, in the same conditions, was the body of Lang Hui Bing preserved so well, while the other 3 bodies in the other coffins were reduced to little more than fragments? The liquid in the coffin. Was the reddish-brown liquid in the coffin responsible for preserving Lang Hui Bing's body? Analysis revealed that the liquid had a pH level of 7.55, indicating it was a weak alkaline substance. In contrast, the liquid in the mummified tombs in Hunan had a pH of 5.18, meaning it was acidic. Clearly, the 2 substances were quite different. Could the alkaline substance in Lang Hui Bing's coffin have protected her body from decomposition? Was this liquid injected into the coffin before burial, or did it form naturally over time from underground water seeping into the tomb and interacting with the materials inside? The burial rituals and rank. Studies of the artifacts found in Lang Hui Bing's tomb suggest that her rank was clearly higher than that of the 2 men, Dong Gong. However, compared to over 3,000 artifacts found in the ancient tombs in Hunan, Lang Hui Bing's tomb contained only about 80 items. For someone of high rank, this seems unusually sparse. Furthermore, the construction of the tomb was much simpler and not as grand as those of other individuals of similar status. Archaeologist Shian Wen suggested that the minimal number of artifacts and the simple construction of the tomb indicate that the burial rituals were rushed, possibly due to some unforeseen event. Why were 4 high-ranking individuals buried so hastily? This remains a mystery that has yet to be fully answered. Later, experts reconstructed the face of Lang Hui Bing and were surprised by the result. The reconstruction revealed that Lang Hui Bing was a beautiful woman from the Han Dynasty with a delicate and lovely face. She had a kind expression, large eyes, a high nose, and a small mouth shaped like a cherry blossom. This indicates that not only was she of noble descent, but she was also exceptionally beautiful. With these mysterious discoveries, experts hope that further research and exhibitions will help shed light on the questions surrounding Lang Hui Bing and the ancient tomb at Lianyun Port. What do you think about these mysteries? Could these secrets be just the tip of the iceberg? And are there still many things left to uncover from the Han Dynasty? Clearly, each discovery like this invites us to reflect on the mysteries of the past. The 600-year-old mummy with the most tattoos. In 2006, an excavation at the Huaca El Brujo site in Peru led to a groundbreaking discovery in the field of archaeology. Researchers uncovered the mummy of a woman, and for the sake of convenience in their studies, experts named her the Lady of Cow. This mummy lived approximately 1,600 years ago during the Moche civilization, an ancient culture known for its grand architecture and unique art. Tests revealed that the Lady of Cow was only about 20 years old at the time of her death, which is quite young. Experts speculate that she may have died from complications after childbirth. This adds to the mystery and allure of her story, combining both her early death and the enigmatic nature of the Moche civilization. One of the most distinctive features of the Lady of Cow's mummy is the intricate and meaningful tattoos on her body. Experts found tattoos of mythical animals such as spiders, snakes, crabs, catfish, and other creatures, each symbolizing different aspects of Moche beliefs and deities. These tattoos were not just artistic decorations, but were deeply connected to spirituality. As a result, specialists believe that these tattoos may have been part of religious rituals or a symbol of her power. The tattooing method used by the Moche was also unique. They employed sharp needles or bone spines to apply charcoal to the skin, creating colorful and detailed designs. Thanks to the dry climate at Huaca El Brujo, the Lady of Cow's body and tattoos have been remarkably well preserved, despite being over a millennium old. In addition to the tattoos, her tomb contained many valuable artifacts, including weapons, gold decorations, and other symbols of power. These discoveries further support the theory that she was not an ordinary woman, but rather someone of significant importance in Moche society. The burial style and accompanying artifacts suggest that she could have been a priestess, someone holding religious power within the community. This theory is further supported by the special nature of her tattoos, which are closely tied to gods and religious ceremonies. With these findings, experts continue to search for more answers about the life and role of the Lady of Cow. Was she a powerful priestess, a key figure in Moche religious ceremonies? The mysteries remain, and further research will undoubtedly shed more light on her life. So, what do you think about these discoveries? Could these tattoos be more than just religious symbols, perhaps indicating the power and influence that the Lady of Cow held in Moche society? These questions remain unanswered and are eagerly awaited by experts and history enthusiasts alike. If you know anything about this mummy, don't hesitate to share in the comments below so everyone can learn and discuss it. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on the latest videos. Now goodbye, and we'll see you next time.